La la la.
Let's begin. Ready? Here we go. Let's get started.
Darksydephil is a game creator and former fighting game aficionado that has existed in the online realm for over 2 decades.
Wrong. Absolutely incorrect. I gotta call out Joon right away. No, I'm just kidding.
There are several search engines designed to search his over 70,000 videos that even have options to show the trend of word usage. And of course, a forum with over 280,000 posts discussing him. Now,
Just to start, I had no idea that those search engines existed. That's pretty insane, huh?
elements of his life. This video, perhaps unreasonably so, will attempt to tackle it all.
Unreasonably so. Now that I like. And he did put that in there. The dark side of the moon. Look at that.
And was the 16-year-old Daigo who had flown out from Japan to make history. The game, Street Fighter 3 Alpha, was the medium.
Now that he's doing this, I wish he would do a documentary on Street Fighter. Because like
Daigo had won
and combo and blew right through him. Wow, that was awesome.
And the world champion of the fighting game community, projecting Japan's strength and their competitors as
This is a hell of an intro. I didn't know that I was involved in any of this, though. I'm not in any of this, so I don't know why this is in it, but okay.
fierce. It was historical environment at all. While online play was non-existent, the internet did tend to the community by allowing a quick, cheap, accessible way to promote local or grand-scale events. One of these involved an 18-year-old Phil Burnell.
Who's that asshole? That guy looks like a Nazi or something. Someone arrest him immediately. Look at this man.
That was viewed as unbalanced. Quote, everybody said that my victory was so quote-unquote cheap, and that I had no skill, unquote. Regardless,
I have no idea what he's quoting from. This must be like ancient posts.
Phil's aggression. Quote,
yes.
I see it every day in my town. These little fucking wimps who call themselves quote-unquote thugs and pretend they're quote-unquote tough mofos. Well, if I ever get into a fight with one of them, hand-to-hand, I guarantee you I'll be the one standing afterwards.
This is, it's so dumb. It's 100% e-thuggery, as they call it. Back then, alright, my life was pretty boring because I think he'll talk about it, that in school I was basically pushed to be the best I could be by my parents. So essentially I was like constantly studying, doing schoolwork and shit. My escape was to go online and to become this crazy e-thug persona, almost like the heel of wrestling, right? I'm the big man, I'm the tough guy. So I'm gonna go on the forums and I'm gonna go on fucking chat rooms, like IRC chat rooms for fighting games, and I'm just gonna talk monstrous shit to everyone as much as I possibly can to piss people off. And it worked. Man, people bit into this persona hook, line, and sinker. I'm curious how far he goes into it, because obviously I'd like to tell you what actually would happen when I went to a tournament and stuff, but let's see.
And if they pull a gun on me, I hope they have pretty good aim, because if they don't hit me with the first shot, I'll have already punctured the windpipe and ended their life.
Because as you know, I had much practice with this. I wonder how old I was when I posted that. Probably like 17 years old. I was just walking down the streets of Bridgeport, Connecticut, just shanking people's necks left and right like this. I was so fast, they couldn't even see me move. They actually called me the Flash, because I was just zoop, 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 zoop. I was an idiot. This is so stupid. I was a complete asshole online.
Unquote. He viewed himself as a macho, hardened, threatening individual. And that's why he chose his new name, Darkside, which was directly influenced by the song Darkside from the band Crazy Town.
I'm pretty sure I might have told him this, but the truth is, I heard the song, and I thought it was, at first I thought it was okay, but actually in reality I hate the song now. Like I listened.
And would not be at the East Coast Championship. Phil's solution was to make a
Oh, I don't even remember this at all. It wasn't going to be at the East Coast Championship and I did something about it. I don't remember this at all. This is super old lore. Okay, let's see what I did. I have no clue.
Journey of his own at Motel 6 with a $5 entry fee. The results are unknown. What is that Phil was ingraining himself in his local community, and that he
I don't remember. I actually don't remember at all what happened.
But he wasn't in theirs.
Yale rejected me, Harvard rejected me. There were 3 of them. I can't even remember what the 3rd one was, but every Ivy League school that I applied to said, no. When you want to know why they rejected me, it's this simple. Because I'm a white male.
Where there is Phil Burnell, there are bound to be inconsistencies.
Whoa. He ended the quote. He didn't finish the quote. I'm going to see if he finishes the quote. If he doesn't finish the quote, that's kind of messed up, because that's not what I said. At all.
And lies. Here he states that it was because he was not racially diverse enough as a reason for not getting in, then later flips the excuse.
Just off of that premise, it wasn't my extracurriculars, it wasn't my academics, it was based off the fact that I wasn't a rich white person. Okay, now he said it. I'm not a rich white person.
Year. He won this tournament, and with that, he is losing his potential. To make it big in this flourishing environment, practicing the game would have to encompass his life for nearly the next decade. And to finance the traveling, he took out various credit cards as his job selling yogurt did not provide enough income.
Well, that's also not true. I didn't have any credit cards when I was young. I had credit cards in the mid-2000s, in which I financed my big Evo trips and stuff. No, I did bust my ass at that stupid health food job, pumping frozen yogurt and making salads, and I made a lot of money doing it, and it all went into my hobby. That's the only reason I could afford to travel, is because I was working since I was 15 years old.
There's insane competition in the fighting game community, especially from Japan nowadays, and it's like
David Serlin, epic man in the fighting game community. He's both loved and hated. He was so cool. Thank you, Food Shop.
you know, who cares about the flash? You can.
Oh my God, it's APOC. I haven't seen APOC in 5 zillion years. He's a top Super Turbo player from back in the day.
Flash there. Make sure the gameplay is solid. No more stupid additions.
Inadvertently, the fighting game community is getting like a giant showcase in this documentary that
Year the event grew. It grew rife with competition, controversy, diversity, and of course, increased attendance of darksydephil.
East Coast versus West Coast.
So this was a stupid rivalry I had with a guy named Shady K from the West Coast. So what was the point of even doing the one match? It was really stupid.
In this particular moment at EVO 2002, the infamous darksydephil was selected as a sort of representative of the East Coast theater.
No, that's not true at all. This is the very first EVO ever was 2002. That's correct. So this is the very first one. And we had a rivalry online, and we were finally going to play, and then they called it off after one match. I was the guy who always talked shit. I was the guy who always was like, man, don't get in my face at a tournament. I will fuck you up. I will throw you in a trash can. I I used to do that.
But in person, that was a different story.
I mean, online, he would freaking, run his flap and post a lot and respond to everything, but when you see him at the tournaments, he just sits there, he's not doing nothing.
Why would I? Again, I was being the online heel. I was the one who I wanted everyone to hate. So when you go to the tournament, you always want to see Phil go up against someone, and it got me a way to get spotlighted at the tournament. It also got hype, because you have to understand something. I should go full screen for this. The way that fighting game tournaments worked back then, here's literally what it was, okay? You go into an arcade, or you go into a ballroom, and it's a bunch of sweaty fucking stinky-ass dudes, all right? A couple hundred of them, and you're literally just standing around waiting to play your match for hours on end. It's not fun. That was hype. People wanted to see that. So let's see the shit talker either actually deliver or get his ass handed to him. And it actually added a new level of entertainment to these events. Some people didn't get it and thought I was actually like a fucking asshole who was going to cause problems. I literally never caused a single problem at any tournament I ever attended. I never fought anyone. I never threatened anyone. I never brought a weapon. People who knew me in real life said, we know it's an online persona. But the people from across the country who didn't know me in real life didn't understand that. You see, they took it very seriously, and then there was problems with certain people, which I'm sure he's probably going to cover. So let's get back to it.
That was Jaha, one of the more hot-headed...
Boy, that was like right on fucking key, like perfect timing.
He just turns fucking white, and it's funny because he just like talks so much shit on the internet, but when you run into him in fucking person, he's just fucking, turns white as a ghost.
Because it's talking shit on the internet about a video game. No one was like, oh yes, we're actually going to go to EVO and start a fight, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, there was never any intention of actually starting fights. These people took the shit seriously. They didn't get the joke. In this case, Jaha was 100% in the right. I'm going to say this publicly. Now, when I look back at my behavior back then, I'm embarrassed. I am so fucking embarrassed that I acted like that, and I caused problems and stress and drama in a community that didn't really want it. I thought I was helping, but I guess to a lot of people, I was just the real problem in the community. Jaha was justified for wanting to beat my ass, okay? Why are we talking about wanting to fight people at a fucking fighting game tournament? Why am I saying I'm going to stab people? I didn't say I was going to stab anyone at a tournament. But I was talking big, like I was an online e-thug big shot. Why am I going to say I'm going to throw someone in the trash can? It's dumb. And I really wish I didn't do it, but here we are 20 years later, and I'm being called out for it. So I guess, you know, you got to face the music at some point, right? So here we go.
DSP was able to diffuse the situation by paying Shady K, Jaha's friend, $10. They arrived to that amount from a money match that was meant to go 10 rounds for a total of $100.
That's what was shown. That was the first match of the 10-round money match, and it never happened. So then he's like, pay $10. What? Okay. And I took $10 and I threw it on the floor, right? And then he yelled at me for throwing it on the floor. How dare you throw that on the floor? Okay.
But since it was cut short due to time limitations, and DSP only fought and lost a single match, Jaha and his crew were able to swindle those $10 that DSP had no obligation to pay. But even then, it was cheaper than a trip to the hospital. As for...
You could say that, but here's the truth. King and win.
I understand that you got something you want to say about the DSP.
Nah, I don't got nothing to say about that little retard. Down syndrome Phil.
I don't even know who this is.
Now,
I have
in
no idea who that
2003, Phil's infamy grew to new heights after he was banned from the SRK forums. Even the smaller competitions he did win will not be received with commemoration, but ire. In addition to the displeasures at his victory, was
here
what
we go.
appears to be
You knew that they were going to bring this up?
website known as tophaters.com. Further investigation reveals that this website of Phil's creation was a response to topplayers.com, a West Coast-centered Street Fighter website. Looking further into it, this is not just a response to Top Players.
Why we hate. Why we hate. This went so far, I'm not kidding you. I opened a mailing list, and I had hundreds of people say, I want to join tophaters.com. I want to be in the hate army, Phil. I'm not kidding you. It got popular. It was a movement in the fighting game community at the time. It was not huge, but it was funny. It was pretty funny.
Lashing out at his infamy. There is much to unpack through the multiple pages of this website.
It's a blog. Yeah, it's just a crazy blog about over-the-top shit.
Even so, he petitioned for financial support, supposedly to run the website, while also complaining about the lack of users. Despite a clear lack of support, Phil...
Actually, like I said, I had a huge mailing list. It's just that no one was supporting the site or anything. I was paying for it out of pocket. You know, it wasn't like, oh, send me a ton of money to keep blogging or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that I did ask for like some contributions to pay for the web server or something like that.
Went onward with a new project known as Impact. As tophaters.com was Phil's answers to topplayers.com, Impact was Phil's answer to Evo. And even though Phil...
All right, so he actually didn't go into the articles on tophaters.com. I guess...
Single other response.
Right.
It was also the only respondent to the majority of Phil's posts. Even threads discussing how much Phil sucked garnered more attention on his website than Impact. Top Haters...
Yes, because, again, this wasn't serious. The entire site was a troll attempt. You understand? That no one runs a tournament the same weekend as someone else's tournament. Why would you do that? Like, they actually got upset, even though it was a joke. It was totally never intended that it was going to be like a real thing. I didn't have money for a venue. I didn't have money to roll in arcade machines and shit. It never was going to happen.
.com was a failed project. DSP now espoused to this negativity will not use his character to his benefit. Instead, he used it to attack beloved franchises like Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3.
And again, it's a joke. I played Counter-Strike and Warcraft 3. I played them and liked those games. This was supposed to be me going crazy over-the-top rants to get attention. It was very stupid.
Even then, that was only a distraction from his assaults at fighting game culture. Here, he lambasted what was known in the fighting game community as...
What's up with all those combo videos? Losers!
It's have long been losing their purpose to the increasingly popular home video game console and a switch of competitions. Prioritizing consoles could increase accessibility for players.
We're entering the console arc, everyone!
Like Street Fighter, for example, is ported from the superior hardware of an arcade cabinet to the limited or vastly different video game console. Color, resolution, and most importantly, mechanics could differ based on the port. And though the technology and quality control had improved, it was still not good enough. It was a jump that would eventually have to be made, but perhaps it was too soon.
Evolution console? This is my worst nightmare, dude. I'm an arcade player.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if this is the future, we're gonna have to, it's evolving, so we're gonna have to adapt. Personally, I don't like it, but, you know, no choice.
And that's exactly what they refused to do. They refused to adapt. They all didn't practice, and they got hosed. And you're about to see the story right now.
That was Alex Valle at EVO 2004, sharing what was the popular opinion among the top fighting game players. And to the displeasure of many, their worst nightmare would manifest in ways they could hardly predict.
For years, I was the one everyone hated or loved to hate. And then I went to Evo and I beat all the fucking top players in Super Turbo and made it the highest ranking American spot in the tournament, and they all were out and I was in. Dude, that is so fucking, to this day, I mean, you could say as much as you want, but dude, here it is in black and white, right there. You cannot delete the screen. It is there forever. There I am, 4th place. The top 3 are all Japanese players who were much better than all of the Americans at the time. None of us were going to beat them.
EVO 2005 would live in infamy for its decision to use the PlayStation port of Street Fighter II Turbo and the outcome of the matches. Both.
It only would live in infamy if I won. Let's be clear here. Let's be very fair. If Alex Valle, John Choi, Mike Watson, all right, the big 3, or any Japanese players or whatever, if they were the top placers, it would have been perfectly fine. But because darksydephil got 4th place and beat all the Americans, that's why the tournament says it lives in infamy, right? That's the only fucking reason. They hated me, so they discredit the tournament. You know, I know what the most fucked up part about that is? Because I said this before, actually reacting to a different documentary. When they say that, do you not understand you've discredited the top 3 Japanese players? Now, everyone knew that the Japanese were the best players. So why is it that the Japanese were able to get the top 3 spots easily, no problem, but all the other American players couldn't hang, and I beat them all? Did you hear the Japanese say, man, this thing's a piece of shit. I can't play this version of the game. No, they practiced the version. They came to Evo. They dominated. They won as expected. So why couldn't the other players do that? Instead, they all sat there whining and stomping their feet that they didn't like the version. I can't play it the way I like to play, blah, blah, blah. And then they got handed their asses in a paper bag by me. They can't take that away. It doesn't matter if it's an inferior version. The Japanese adapted. I adapted. You adapt too. But they didn't like the fact that they didn't like me and I kicked their ass. That was the problem.
Would receive protest in one way or another.
In 2005, I think it was, the 3 of you were absent from ST Top 8. What happened that year?
When you play Bison and you hit a Fierce Flame and it only goes like 20% of the screen, you got a problem with the game. And you got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way.
John Choi on the left, Mike Watson in the middle, Alex Valle on the right. There they are, the top 3 American players in Super Turbo, arguably of all time. And here they are talking shit about me. Okay?
I like to get that on YouTube.
And this was from 2010. This is a video from 2010. I had long retired. So I've been in their mind rent-free at this point for the greater part of, 5 years since I placed at EVO 2005. They just can't forget the fact that I beat them all.
But this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like fucking Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude.
First of all, I have to bring this up. Alex Valle did not enter this tournament. He spelled his name wrong.
DSP at EVO 2005 surged in the ranks for Street Fighter II Turbo, a feat that was achieved through a superior knowledge of the game.
Wow, wait a minute. Someone actually gave me credit. Joon says I won because I had superior knowledge of the game.
Achievement, and now beating all of his American opponents in EVO 2005, is that he touts his knowledge as a fair advantage. But when he goes up against the Japanese players who also dedicated themselves to the port without protest, he changes his tone.
I do? I don't know. They beat my ass because they're better than me. Because they play way more than me, because they have more knowledge than me, because they're better players. Those Japanese players, dude, they're hardcore. Like, a lot of American players, for us, it's a hobby. Those people live and breathe fucking Street Fighter. Said, hey, I got a couple buddies who actually like Super Turbo, and obviously that's the game you're really good at. You want to go play with them? And this is the first time I ever met John Rambo. So this is probably between, like, 2005, 2006, I would guess. All right, so this is going to transition probably into me knowing Rambo and leading to being YouTuber and all of that. When I first my fault. I jumped the gun. There's a lot more. Let's keep going. I felt like... Daigo, you're fucking next. I never played Daigo. It sucks. I never got to ever play Daigo. Instead, I played Taquito in every tournament, and literally Taquito wiped the fucking floor with me in every single tournament I ever played him in, but I never got to play Daigo.
As neat as these victories were,
and that was Justin Wong who I beat right there. That was me versus Justin in the finals, Evo East 2006, and then I went on the next year to beat Seth Killian in the finals of Evo East 2007. I also entered all these different regional tournaments for Evo in 2006 and 7, and I either placed or won all of them. I did really well those years.
Traveling across the country when he already secured a high position in Evo meant that he was effectively wasting his money, as having more than one seat was pointless.
He's right.
These victories inflated his ego beyond measure and created an even more aggressive Phil.
First of all, you are fucking hypocrite. You have no
oh my god.
problem.
Shit.
You have no problem talking about my shit.
I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass.
Oh, really? You gonna whoop my fucking ass? Oh, I want to see that shit.
DSP continued to seek out.
Oh, come on, that's it?
Other times, he miscalculated and threatened someone who could reciprocate threats, reinforced by real experience. Viscount, a veteran of the fighting game community, was lambasted by DSP. Quote, so first Phil was like,
dude, this thing was completely fake.
One day Phil IMs me on AIM and tries to back out. He was like, hey, so how about this? How about we pretend like we're going to fight, and then when a whole crowd is around us, we both do DX crotch chops to the crowd. It'll be such a goof.
Yes.
This really happened, and
because why? Okay. This is so weird. This is bizarre that people took this seriously. It was never real.
And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I honestly couldn't believe he was pulling this, and I was still mad about the whole thing and actually wanted to fight him. From that point on, there never really was any problem between him and I.
Here we go.
When it came to real fights, backing out was typical of Phil. But when it came to Street Fighter, he was more confident than he'd ever been.
No, there was no backing out was typical of Phil. Phil was never going to fight anyone.
The one and only DSP. I call him Phil, because Phil's cool. Anyhow, Phil. How you feel about FT?
I mean, for years.
Damn, this is 2006.
Alex Valle, this guy right here, living legend, Street Fighter scene. First and foremost, you know what I gotta ask you? The ST beef with DSP.
I don't even consider it a beef. It's like another scrub, another day.
Yeah, you see? But it's shit talking. That's fine.
As chance would have it, they actually did compete at EVO 2006.
Yeah, and he beat me in that one, and then I beat him the next year. I think basically mind fucked me waiting all day to play my match. I finally play Alex Valle, and I lose.
Phil, now in the losers bracket, still had a chance to redeem himself. And after working his way through through the losers bracket, he had his final match of the day.
My final match is against, guess who? Tokido. Now, this is the guy who beat me in 2005 on stage mirror match with Vega.
The results of Tokido and DSP's first two matches played out exactly like they did in EVO 2005.
Yep.
Both players won a single match, and it came down to the last match.
It comes down to it's fucking nail biting, sweating. Everyone's watching this match saying, "Oh my god, this fucking match is so good."
In 2007, he went at it again, also winning EVO East.
Yep, there we go. I won EVO East against Seth Killian. So.
Even though, with his victory, DSP qualified to be seated higher at EVO, he still attended EVO West, which was held at Comic-Con.
Yep. And here's the thing. I lost at Comic-Con.
There was an EVO West in San Diego, and fucking DSP was fucking talking shit about Mike Watson, and that's my road dog.
So what he's talking about, I literally have no recollection, but let's see what their story is, and I'll tell you my side, okay?
We fucking ran him down in EVO West. You know, we didn't even fucking wait to get outside. Watson just fucking went up to him in the arcade hall and just told him, dude, why the fuck you talking shit?
He did? No, I don't think so. I don't think that happened. I think that was in a parking lot, actually.
This and that, blah, blah, blah. And he just didn't even want to face this. Like, he just kept on, like, cowering away, looking away, and just being fucking quiet, this and that, and just fucking scared shitless. And we're fucking following him around, dude. Like, what the fuck's your problem? And, you know, Watson is a forgiving guy, so he just fucking pretty much got to the point where he made him apologize.
That's not what happened whatsoever. So Mike Watson gets in my face, and he's basically saying, why did you talk all this shit online, and why did you do this? And I'm like, dude, like, literally, I'm like, I actually have no idea what you're talking about. I really don't. And when he really got in my face, and he goes, well, I don't understand, how could you not know? I said, I admitted to him right there. I said, dude, I'm an alcoholic. Every night I drink, and I just go online and I act like an asshole. So I actually have no clue what you're talking about. I apologize if I said something personal that really pissed you off. And then it was basically like Jaha was getting in my face, and he was like, well, I'm going to fuck you up anyway. And I said, no. I said, if you're going to do it, go ahead. And I put my hands behind my back just like this. And I said, if you want to fuck me up, go for it. You have the right, I guess, because I don't know what I even said, right? I really have no clue. So go ahead and beat my ass. I'm not going to defend myself. Go ahead and beat me up. And I just stood there like this. And basically the two of them were like shocked that I did this, because they thought I was going to try to fight them or something, right? And then after that, they were like, well, don't fucking ever do that again and blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right, whatever. I don't know. You know, again, I'm sorry. I really have no clue what I've done. And that was it. And in fact, I saw them the next day at the tournament. In fact, here's the story, because I don't know if he's going to play this part. The next day at the tournament, guess who I had to play in Super Turbo at Evo West? Mike Watson. Guess who won? Darksydephil. And I was like, dude, I'm an alcoholic. I admitted it to him right there. I was like, I'm an alcoholic. I drink too much all the time, and I just can't control myself when I do it. And I, you know, at that point, I actually started crying because I felt so bad about everything that I had done and how stupid I was as a person.
Rumor of what took place at this event would spread within the fighting game community.
And of course, it was all bullshit. They all made stuff up about what really happened, and it wasn't what the truth of it at all. They all just made their own fucking bullshit up about it, you know?
You guys remember the whole thing with DSP and like with the West Coast people, where they almost like he was like really scared because he was about to get beat up? I heard he was like crying and everything, so that was pretty funny.
Why are you so here's the truth of the matter. Sorry, because I got distracted here. Here's the truth of the matter. Why are you joking? If you knew the real story, that the reason that I was crying is because I was embarrassed because I was an alcoholic and I couldn't control myself, and I was apparently doing things I couldn't even remember. I mean, that's blackout drunk, that you don't remember what you did when you're drunk. And that's why I was crying, because I was so upset with myself that, you know, that's not something to laugh at.
DSP had fulfilled his role as a heel by losing to players who were far more popular than he was. He again, for Evil Actual, did not even place in the top 8.
Yeah, I can't remember what happened.
This is a strange leap from working at Best Buy to working as medium in helicopter parts selection. His degree that he had recently gotten was supposedly in business, so DSP's work experience nor his educational background was related to his current position. The only thing that was his father, who had been working at the company, and it is understood that DSP secured his position due to nepotism.
Wrong. Completely wrong. And there's no evidence to that whatsoever. So, baloney. There's no nepotism. There will never be any evidence of nepotism because it didn't happen.
There was an additional development that DSP would long cling to. He was now starting a perilous path, ones that machinations would be far more complex than he could ever predict or even understand.
Is that supposed to be like me in a chair? This is excellent. I love this. That's a good one.
Yet he stood directly in the center to witness it all.
So, by the way, shout out.
Wait, you're not going to edit this video? Just gonna post them as is with the 10-minute mark?
Why would I edit? It took 2 days actually off of work just to play Batman Arkham Asylum, because I knew it was gonna be great, and you know what? I don't regret it at all. Even though
I'm the fucking Batman.
The Darksydephil YouTube channel was created on March 3rd, 2007, but was not utilized until 2008. Phil began.
I did use it in 2007, but oh, he's gonna say it. Never mind.
By recording some of the fighting game events he would enter. The earliest available video is Midwest Moment for Day 1 setup. The next one is Moment 7, then 13, then 19. Though all these videos range from 13 seconds to 2 minutes and 16 seconds, the jumping of the numerical order means that several videos were deleted and various pre-existing videos are lost.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Instead of recording the entirety of his gameplay in one go that would create a single video file to chop into several parts, Phil subverted the need to edit his videos down below the required 10-minute mark that YouTube had by physically stopping the recording on his camera every couple minutes.
And it was a pain in the fucking ass to do it.
Himself to recording entire playthroughs of games full with his commentary, the sequence was still scrambled and parts were uploaded out of order. But by the time he began his Fallout 3 series, now adopting his role of what would be known as a Let's Player, he was finally correcting these errors and uploading a sequence.
And I hated being called a Let's Player.
Quote, stop spamming videos, they are not that good, unquote. Some comments seem to just target Phil as a person. quote, "Fucking you. You are a stupid man. Suck my lick," unquote. Phil's commentary was,
"Suck my lick!"
This was him playing a character, though the Street Fighter community knew it wasn't.
DSP, stop recording. No one gives a shit. Play. You can't hold up a tournament.
This has absolutely nothing to do with me playing a character at all. This is completely unrelated. Let's see if he explains this or not. If not, there's no point in wasting time on this. It's just stupid.
Where am I playing? You still haven't told me. Jesus Christ, man. Want me to run the fucking tournament for you?
Taking form now in early 2009 was the basis of DSP. All the core elements.
So he didn't even explain the context of the clip. That clip's completely out of context. Has nothing to do with anything, really. It's the worst tournament I ever attended, literally, in my life. It was insanely poorly run. They were mistreating a lot of players wrong. At the end of the tournament, a bunch of players, including me, confronted the organizers saying, "This is the worst ever and you owe us all refunds," to which they paid us back our money. So, I mean, we could talk about that as long as you want, but that was completely out of context, that clip. But I think he was forced to kind of squeeze that in because all my detractors love that clip.
As seen in his description, he was now accepting PayPal donations for what he claims were games and equipment. Even now, in the channel comments, people were suggesting...
Keep in mind that at this time, so this is what, 2009, there is absolutely no way to monetize gameplay clips on YouTube at all.
The use of direct capture via what is known as a capture card, and DSP did indeed spend that money, a lot of it too, on a more expensive yet worse option.
As you know, any donations that you send help me in the cost of games and equipment, especially this brand new HD camera. It cost me a pretty hefty sum. So,
as these suggestions to how he could improve his videos poured in, Phil would go on and pour them out.
This guy just wants to be my friend, so he gets deleted. Why don't you?
Friend request ridicule.
Use capture.
But this is funny as fuck.
Capture card instead of camera. I've already explained this 7,000 fucking times. It's because then I'd have to actually use a professional microphone. I'd have to record the voiceovers. I'd have to actually do video editing on every fucking video that I put up. Considering I put up like 30 a fucking day, unless you want to fucking stay home and do that while I'm at work, I don't think that's gonna happen. So shut
your fucking
face.
The fuck up. So basically, the only people who really cared about my quality at this point in 2009 were people who were like, well, other people, your contemporaries, are doing direct capture. I'm like, my contemporaries don't put out 30 videos in a day. Content, right? I was putting out endless amounts of content and people liked that. That's how I ended up blowing up at the start.
That, as would be understood, was DSP's long-winded way of saying it was because he did not want to put forth the effort to learn the technology.
Wrong. That is wrong. It's because I wanted to put out more content. People found it more entertaining for me to play more games than for me to sit there and edit all day. I didn't think it was going to be fun to sit there and edit. Rather, people wanted to see me enjoy myself and play more games. So that's why I did it that way.
Because his vlogging channel was successfully accepted into the YouTube Partner Program, where he pressed what he assumed to be the advantage.
Hello. Guys, if you are enjoying tonight's stream, please give it a like. I know that we have over 1,000 people on stream and 300 likes. Let's get that up. Just click like. It helps this channel a lot for engagement. It'll help more people to find my reacts over the course of the week. And of course, if you're having a good time, please support the stream. I did demonetize the stream for you all tonight, so there wouldn't be hindrance of ads. It would be great if I could get some support by the end of the stream. I'm going to go about another half hour or so. We'll see. Okay? Or any kind of a monetary gain for me. Is that my face reveal video?
It's DSP's Game of the Year Awards 2009 Top 10 Best Games of the Year.
Dude, I sound so congested. I was sick as a dog making those, and I still made them anyway.
Don't attack those fucking rat scorpions. Just follow me.
If you're interested in seeing me piss drunk and do a playthrough...
As was normal, DSP fumbled through gameplay, regularly blaming the game for shortcomings. Alcohol only amplified this.
We may not look it, but every one of us is a trained... They both come in here.
Alright, I'm just gonna say this. For me being completely drunk as shit...
Why did they attack me?
There was a grotesque nature to Phil's Let's Plays and a rage that would turn physical.
My Xbox locked up! That's what the Butthead DSP Smash is. It's me doing a controller smash montage. Oh, okay. Because I saw this in the timestamps of the documentary earlier on. I was like, I have no idea what this is. It's just a montage. Okay.
Fucking does. What? You're doing it.
Standing fucking roundhouse. Wow. Shit fucking.
It doesn't.
kidding me? Fuck this stupid fucking mission. I'm fucking cooking fucking balls.
A part of a successful creator,
I mean, people loved it when I acted like that. Correction there.
His willingness to experiment, adapt, and improve. DSP had those elements, except he was so set in his immediate success, he disregarded improvement to increase what worked in excess.
Correct.
20,000 idiots are subscribed to him. That's great. Congratulations. Congratulations with your YouTube channel, and hope you enjoy your life, bro. I mean, it's a great victory. PlayStation 1 Super Turbo Champion. You take that to your grave, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, and the hilarious part again, I had already beaten him in tournaments after this, or after that, but this is him seething that I'm popular on YouTube and the FGC is not. Like I said, this interview was around 2010, and the FGC hated me because they saw that I was becoming popular while they were stagnant. I was being popular. They were trying to make videos on Street Fighter 4, they were trying to get stuff going, but darksydephil was the talk of the town, and they were not. So they were all very, very jealous,
And then, in 2010, what appeared to be Ubisoft also struck Phil's channel to a severe degree.
The Steve Jones!
As a response to the initial takedown, DSP made 2 additional channels. One for Street Fighter that was soon abandoned, and another for gaming going as DSP Gaming.
Back then, I started Cooking with the King as a way to branch out and to have additional content on that channel. I think that series ran its course to the point where I literally probably cooked every single meal I could possibly make without looking like an idiot or using a cookbook. And the point is, the series was me showing you things that I cook, not me cooking out of a cookbook.
Phil was increasingly monetizing different aspects of his life, and as he stated, poorly cooking with the king were the recipes he knew how to make, meaning...
Yeah, right. No, the whole idea was called, I don't know why I said that. That I will say, that's a misstatement. It's called Poorly Cooking with the King, and people loved it.
This is what Phil made regularly.
So what am I going to make? Today I'm going to make scrambled eggs, and I'm also going to make some sausage. So I'm going to whip together...
I rarely cooked. At this point in my life, I rarely cooked at all because I still have my office job and everything. I would eat completely unhealthy, but this wasn't what I was eating all the time.
Some burgers, the eggs, and the cheese. That's pretty much 3 basic ingredients, but you can add other things to this dish. Although in this episode, we're
See the time? 12:05? That's 12:05 a.m. I've already been drinking for several hours filming gameplay. Now I'm going to make a meal at 12:05 a.m. Yeah.
Actually going to go a little bit more healthy than some of my previous...
Oh, it was 4 a.m. for the scrambled eggs? So there you go. I was up all night drinking, recording, and at 4 a.m. I'm going to eat all this shit, and then I'm going to pass out drunk with this food in my stomach.
Recipe, simply because a lot of people have been complaining, and I guess it's time to show that I don't only eat, things that might be high in fat or high in cholesterol. For every 6 ounces of tuna,
this isn't high in fat and high in cholesterol. Are you kidding me?
You could use a half a cup of mayonnaise and/or Miracle Whip.
Those were the following 4 Poorly Cooking with the King videos. Besides Phil's poor diet that would impact his life in somewhat ironic ways, viewers were exposed to cooking mishaps that were perplexing.
Safest thing
He even shows this? Me pouring the grease down the toilet and destroying the pipes? He shows this? That's hilarious.
to do with bacon grease.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Destroy the pipes.
Hot fucking potatoes.
Scrutinous viewers could look at the clock in the stove frame, the layout of his house, etc. As for the rest of his videos, they were performing well, even if he did have a few hiccups or angry neighbors telling him to shut up along the way.
That's my drunken neighbor. He was more drunk than me. He would sit on his back porch drinking all night and then yell because there's noise coming out of my place. Like, dude, you're sitting on your back porch drunk making noise and you're telling me to stop making noise in my house, in my living room? I can make as much fucking noise as I want in my own living room, you ass.
Series and later stopped posting on the King of Hate HD altogether. DSP's fans were aware that he lost his job, and so a fan contacted Phil and offered to make him his own website, as was customary for various creators that found themselves unsecure in YouTube survivability.
Alright, so we're entering this arc. So let's see how badly I was wrong of my recollections of this, and I'm very curious myself with this one, because I don't know how wrong I was. Let's find out.
And so, by
the way, thank you. All good.
October, the kingofhate.com was up and running. Mainly used as a fan site, this website was fully equipped with forums and not a host of actual videos. Fan input and support was at an all-time high. That's why in November, he made an exorbitant amount of money.
Yes. That first month. Thank you.
This was mysterious by intention, done to avoid users clicking on ads for the sake of helping out their favorite creator. And if viewer support via DSP's instruction could staunch his income, what could viewer hostility do?
This. I said, YouTube, with their AdSense program, literally tell everyone, don't talk to your fans.
DSP cult leader? Wow, he found the cult leader channel. This was my first real detractor.
I'm not allowed to come out and just say, how you can do that, but anyone who's accustomed to YouTube and how the partner channels work, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying.
This is the controversy, okay? What's about to happen is Joon is going to play you a video. In this video, I actually say, if you want to help, you can click on ads and stuff like that. I never should have said that because that's not what got me demonetized on YouTube. What got me demonetized is I lost my job, my fans felt bad, and they went and did that. Despite me never asking them to do that, they did it anyway. But it wasn't anything I did. It was not me saying it in this video, because this video was live at least a year before they turned off my ads, and no action was taken. It was the actual increase in ad revenue that happened out of nowhere when I lost my job that got the action taken. So it's unrelated, but this is always the narrative of my detractors, is that they want to say it's all my fault. Listen, it was wrong for me to say that in this video back then, but that is not the root cause of why I was demonetized on YouTube.
That's where the fun comes from. So I just want to say thanks a lot to everyone. I hope to entertain you in the future. Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos.
There it is. And that video, that was my real face reveal video, and that was, I believe, 2009. If it was early 2010, I apologize, but I think that was early 2009. And that video was live for over a year before I was demonetized.
Here and there. The amount of statues and figurines were noticeably increasing. Perhaps it was because he felt secure, not in YouTube, but in Blip TV. This was a website that was trying to compete with YouTube and was on
the Blip TV saga.
After 2011, his attention split between two competing websites. In January, a demo for the upcoming highly anticipated game, Dead Space 2, was released to help build up hype. DSP was among those that downloaded it and among the few to record it.
Oh, this sounds fun.
Then, he was the sole creator that made the most controversial video that was not even related to the already controversial gameplay.
This is what happens when you let the Jews do whatever they want. You've let the Jews overrun space, and now look at this. Their greed has had the artifact turn everyone into necromorphs. So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew.
Phil, role-playing as the last surviving space Nazi, did not translate well to his audience that quickly reported his anti-Semitic jokes. Unlike YouTube, Blip TV sought to purge Phil and banned him from the platform. He was also, in essence, blacklisted from working with any existing creators on Blip. So for the third time in just 3 months, Phil had to restructure his job and figure out how to make money again.
Hutch, sorry, but obviously you've proven that you can't be mature about it. I sure as hell didn't go to your page to try to fucking flame your fans, so enjoy your block.
So now he's moving on already? There's nothing to say there. That's an indefensible joke.
And then here we go, oh look, it's Hutch, and he sends me this giant fucking message. I told you I was done, you don't listen, so you're blocked. I never want to hear from you.
The Hutch rivalry.
To upload copious amounts of now monetized content with newfound confidence.
Yeah, if you can believe it, I'm living the dream, and you can only go up from here.
For a while, this was the case.
Yep.
In May of 2011,
thank you.
2011, he had a $1,600 computer built by the same fans that created and were.
Alright, here it is.
Floor, it was difficult to find a square foot of clear space. There was even an entire corner of his condo solely dedicated to the boxes of the items he had purchased.
Yep.
The density of items took space. Not just
Clutter Master. Looks like I'm a hoarder, right? It was bad.
Physical space, but also with the Condo Tour runtime that by part 3 saw Phil categorizing just segments of his small condo as to speed up the pace of the video. The first 3 parts had reached a total runtime of over 30 minutes, and this was hardly everything. Phil had covered.
And my condo was tiny.
This artwork is actually painted completely with her breasts, and it's custom artwork that she makes.
Oh my god, I remember that.
She does all kinds of different paintings and such. And I was actually thinking, this is so nice. It's so artistic.
People were sending me all kinds of shit. They were sending me handmade controllers. They were sending me handmade artwork. You know, crazy shit like this. Just constant shit.
Stick looking that if I do get an office next year, like I had talked about doing, that I may actually commission her to do a couple more paintings for the office. I thought that would be pretty cool.
On that note, the only thing preventing Phil from stockpiling more was lack of space, which he sought to remedy.
If I get more artwork, where's it really going to go? There's only a couple spots left that I've been looking, like a couple spots in the bedroom or whatever, but at this... wow, at this point, it's pretty much all filled up.
I love that he left that in there.
As much as he collected, there was a space he felt was consistently vacant. He was lacking a significant other. Quote, now for my favorite part of the story. My sweet waffle Philip. I met him in November 2011 online, YouTube actually, while he was and currently is making video game playthroughs. We're still going strong despite some hurdles. The biggest one is other people. We are a May-December romance. He is 11 years older, but it makes our bonds even stronger. He is so supportive of my
What is this? I guess she had a blog. I didn't even know she had this. She had a blog? Oh.
By February of 2012, they had become a couple, and Phil saw it fit to introduce her to his audience on Valentine's Day.
Hello everyone, darksydephil here, and with me today...
And this was the beginning of such a shitstorm.
Today is my beautiful girlfriend, Leanna, who also is known as Panda Lee on YouTube.
Quote, special note, Panda Lee is not Asian. That is all, unquote. This was an annotation found on the video, a request likely by Panda Lee to avoid confusion of her race.
Right, because she picked the name Panda Lee and she didn't want people to think that she was Asian because she had like a, you know, what is it, a panda is what, a Chinese bear or whatever? But she didn't want people to think that she was Asian when she wasn't.
It is likely her because she also made sure to clear this up in an interview held through a Twisted Metal lobby.
Some guy on the reveal video commented that I looked like an old Asian woman, so...
Yeah, they're all immature. Don't pay attention to DSP fans. They're fucking idiots. A lot of them are fucking idiots.
If they ever need a really awkward Asian-looking, non-Asian chick...
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh my god, people in chat are like, Yoko Ono, Yoko Ono. And you can learn a lot.
So what are your favorite games?
I just want to know how many Asians have green eyes. That's what I want to know. I've never met an Asian with green eyes.
Neither have I. So,
yeah, I have green eyes. Very rare, so...
What games do
figured
you
that
like?
would give away that I'm not Asian.
While Panda Lee was trying to convince Phil's audience that she is not Asian, Phil's audience was more curious about the 11-year age gap, with Phil being 29 years old and Panda Lee being 18. Rumors spread that they began dating when she was underage, but these are unsubstantiated and no evidence of such has ever been brought forward.
Thank you, Joon, for saying that, because see, here's the evidence. There's no evidence. Joon researched it and himself said there's no evidence. It's bullshit, you see?
That cannot be said about the rest of the criticisms surrounding Panda Lee, which there are many of.
Okay, so a word to the wise, do not fucking get an apartment, like, ever. Just don't. I don't care what neighborhood you live in. It can be as white as anything.
I guess this is her video, because this ain't mine. I don't...
Panda Lee would sometimes do playthroughs with DSP and John Rambo. Still, DSP's best friend had a large catalog of playthroughs with Phil and one...
Are we at? No, we're still okay. Sorry, we're getting to the end here.
Was a favorite of the... Now, 2012, the trend was downward, and...
Okay, that's it? No, this is the end. I'm trying to find the split here.
Instead of getting a capture card to improve the quality of his videos, he sought experimentation elsewhere.
Okay, this is a good place to end because now we'll absolutely remember tomorrow we start on Project 7.
And reclaim it. The stars were Phil, his best friend John Rambo, and their mutual friend Howard, which Phil claims was more so just John Rambo's friend. In charge of the editing, which was the heavy lifting, was more friends of John Rambo known by their channel Respect the Pact. They offered their...
Actually, already, Respect the Pact were actually friends of Howard.
...assistance with the project for the sole purpose of a shout-out, which they hope will launch their YouTube career.
Right.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm joined by... Howard. Woohoo! So
this is going to be them in a video that they made about me in 2015, many years later.
One of the members had a child on the way, and the shoutouts that they got from the project did virtually nothing for their own personal channel. There was also the fact that Project 7 was practically a failure. The entire 4 episodes, when adding up the views, did not even surpass 1 million. It was far more lucrative for DSP to continue pumping out low-quality, effortless gameplay videos that he had even gotten a raise for mid-2012. Not only was he getting a set $2 per 1,000 views, sometimes he will get a bonus simply because of the size of his channel.
That's true. Kept doing it. I had all these ideas for future episodes that never got made.
The rest of the crew still desired to continue making these, and John Rambo put forth the idea that if DSP offered Respect the Pact money, then they would have no reason to stay.
That's completely false. That's not what happened at all. Respect the Pact contacted me directly and said, we don't want to go forward with the project anymore because we're not getting the attention and clout and growth on our own content that we thought we would get out of it. And we're getting too busy with other things in our own lives, and we're just done with it. And I even said to them, would you consider under any circumstance doing it again? And they said, we're not sure. We were supposed to have a meeting, and this is truthful. I got food poisoning. I ate some old pizza, and I got a bad stomach ache, and I had to cancel the meeting. And then after that, I tried to reschedule. It just never worked. We never got back together ever again. The whole thing just fell apart. So I guess you could blame the real reason Project 7 fell apart is because I ate bad pizza and I got sick, but it just fell apart. It had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I didn't want to pay them or anything like that. The conversation never happened. The upfront conversation was they just wanted clout on their channel and attention, and then there was never a follow-up conversation about, hey, we want money, okay?
Then you have a number, and then split it the 5 ways, and throw them the cash. Yep. And offer that to them. There's no guarantee that they're going to, continue with the series, but hey, man, at least try.
Phil did not do so.
That's right, because the meeting never happened. They stopped talking to me. Like, the original meeting never happened, and then they just stopped contacting me after that, and I was like, well, I guess it's done then. Now, I already talked about this, but I wonder if Joon will bring it up. The show made me no money at all. I lost money on Project 7, but let's see if Joon brings that up at all.
He even lied to John Rambo and Howard and said that he did offer them money, only for them to ask Respect the Pact themselves.
His response?
That's bullshit. I didn't lie. I'm telling you the truth. This is complete nonsense. Originally, up front, the original discussion was, what would you want out of this? And they said, we don't want money. We just want attention and plugs in the show. It was never once did they say, we want money. So that's bullshit.
They don't want money. They don't want...
That's what they told me.
They don't want any money after this.
That's what they told me.
What he says they told him that.
Yeah. And then I asked them about it, and they said he didn't even talk to them.
So they lied.
Phil was bold-faced lying to his 2 friends.
No, I was not. That is complete bullshit. You cannot prove that whatsoever. That's complete hearsay. That's nonsense.
This was already on top of other compounding, smaller problems, like Phil's jealousy of larger content creators and how he would lash out, creating unwanted attention towards his channel or just himself.
That
Comments would also sometimes spark jealousy of his friends and would create a response from Phil.
Case in point, in this teaser trailer, there's a funny scene featuring John Rambo, and everyone says it's the best part of the trailer, and I even saw a comment saying, wow, this is Rambo's the funniest thing. Guess what? I wrote that scene.
These small, inconsequential things would add up slowly and drive a rift between DSP and John Rambo.
And you want to know why they did? My detractor.
Like when DSP lied about John Rambo not wanting to play Mario Party.
I start getting messages.
This I don't remember at all.
A lot of people are watching me do co-op with Panda League, and they're leaving comments such as, oh, so I see he's replaced John Rambo. I miss John Rambo. I want John Rambo to play Mario Party 9. Alright, listen. Other games come out, just because a game is co-op doesn't mean it's something that we're interested in doing. John likes to play games like you're seeing us play, X-Men Legends, games that are fun, adult-oriented, gritty, combat-oriented games. If there's a game that we want to play, we're going to play it together. And if you don't want to watch the footage, then just don't watch it. But the bottom line is, John Rambo doesn't want to fucking play every game under the sun. He purposely didn't want to play Ratchet and Clank, which is what took us so long to play it to begin with. He doesn't want to play Mario Party 9. So stop making ridiculous requests. Stop leaving negative comments on the video. Oh, this video sucks because John Rambo should have played this game. fuck you. Get that shit off the video, because if I see it again, and I'm going to be honest, you're getting blocked. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Not people whining and complaining about how they can't get what they want. John and I play what we want. Pandalee and I play what we want. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. I'm tired of the bullshit on the videos. Next time I see it, you're getting permanently blocked. Don't come back begging me, oh, please Phil unblock me. Oh. If you don't like it, don't fucking watch the video.
And people are pissy. Oh, it's not mature enough for you, you big nose piece of shit.
Everything eventually circles back. Phil at first would pay John Rambo 50% of all the earnings in the Let's Plays he was involved in, but as it becomes more difficult to calculate their earnings with DSP's expansive catalog of videos, instead he would just toss him $100 every time he visited.
That's also incorrect. Joon made a few mistakes here, or at least he's just going off of hearsay, okay? That's completely incorrect. I was giving John 50% of the revenue on the videos he was involved in when Machinima would provide me with reports on how much money the videos made. They didn't ever provide reports anymore. I asked, they said, we can't do that anymore. So, and there was no analytics, so there was no way for me to know what the videos made. Now, we could guess, and basically what ended up happening was John and I came to an agreement. He would basically want, like, I think it was $100 every visit, every Saturday for his time. So $100 for the whole day to hang out and play video games and stuff like that, okay? And that was he wanted. That wasn't me saying, hey, I'll offer it. That's what he asked for. Moving forward, if I ever get into a situation where I'm making a show or I'm working with another crew, I'm going to have contracts in place. Oh, you can be well assured, guys, that Mike Klum documentary about me that didn't get made, we already had contracts in place and stuff about, you know, limitation of work, if there's going to be any pay involved. That was all done up front because I learned my lesson back then about this kind of stuff. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect that John Rambo years later would be making a video on the internet crapping on me, saying that I'm such an unfair person and stuff, when in reality he never said a word to me about it in person, and I didn't think we needed to make contracts because we were friends. So, and again, for me, I kind of still saw it as fun times with my friends. I didn't really look at this like, wow, this is like crazy hard work that, you know, the other people involved did. And I guess that's on me for not being aware enough.
But also, virtually every time he did visit, DSP would move things towards wanting to record more Let's Plays rather than hang out outside the realm of YouTube. This all relates to the 2012 Condo. From these repeat visits, John and Howard noticed many changes that really just amounted to additions.
Now, for the record, because he's going to talk about what I think amounts to jealousy, okay? But no, when John came over, the first thing we would do is hang out for like an hour talking fighter. So the narrative falls apart when you actually hear the full story. The problem is no one wants to hear my side. I wasn't really invited to anything. Like, for example, there was never a party that they say, hey, Phil, would you just come over to a party and hang out with us? That never happened. I'm serious. Only those Street Fighter gatherings. Outside of that, it wasn't like, oh, it was John's birthday and I was invited to his house and I didn't show up. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or Howard was having a cookout. That's the opposite. In fact, I did cookouts and things at my parents' house, and they came. So I have no idea what they're talking about here outside of the realm that maybe they wanted to do less work, but they never said that to me. So I don't know. Okay.
Like at least BMW.
We start showing up to your house, and what do we see? The guy starts buying figurines, starts buying all this ridiculous shit that there's no need to buy. Then we show up to his house.
Because it's my money, and I can do whatever I want with it, Howard. I'm the one who's working my ass off 7 days a week, pumping out tens of thousands of videos to make a lot of money. He's ranting because he was in a few playthroughs in Project 7. And he thinks that somehow the few playthroughs in Project 7 that he was involved in would have amounted to like him making tons of money or something. No, Howard, it wasn't. It was me busting my ass in all those gameplay videos by myself that made that money that I could buy all those figures and I could lease the BMW with. So what are you talking about? You have no fucking point. All you're doing is you're exposing yourself for being incredibly jealous by saying these things.
House one day, and what does he have in a fucking driveway? A BMW. So how the fuck do you think I feel, and how do you think these guys feel after the fact?
I don't know, because they didn't tell me. Howard appeared in a few things with me. Every once in a while, I'd have a big bash, and he'd come over and do some gameplay with us. Again, Street Fighter stuff and Project 7, and that was it. He was the least involved of all of us. Yet he's the one who's freaking out in this video about how I had so much money and so many things and they didn't have it or whatever. It's like, dude, you are completely exposing yourself to the world, showing how jealous you were of me. John doesn't say any of this, by the way. This is all Howard ranting about this shit in this video they made about me. And he never said a word about this to me, to my face either. But the funny part about it is, now that he said this publicly, it exposed the whole relationship that we had, because I had always noticed that Howard was kind of the guy who I would invite him and he'd always be on the fence, and a lot of the times he would cancel, or he would say he's going to do something, then he would cancel at the last minute. He used to invite me to the Street Fighter gatherings, and then he stopped inviting me. He had everyone else over, like John and all the other players in Connecticut, and not me. He just stopped inviting me outright without telling me why. But now I know why. This was why. Because he was jealous.
DSP was spending ever more frivolously. In contrast to his 2011 40-minute Condo tour, this new Condo tour took a total of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 27 seconds.
This is all true, and okay, let's continue.
On the surfaces of his apartments, sans some of the walls and ceilings, it became a challenge to now find a square inch of clear space. There was even an update on the corner, now wall full of boxes and trash.
It's now quickly become a graveyard of shit that I can't either, I have nowhere to put.
He's absolutely right.
I can't store. I don't.
For the record, my home now looks absolutely nothing like this at all.
Don't know what to do with it, all right?
Yeah, Asmon Phil, you're right. I in the past have said, oh, I heard that Asmongold lives in like a hoarder's mess of a place. My place was pretty bad too. Dude, there's no trash. Closet space.
Look at all the boxes I've got.
Oh my god.
Phil did not value or understand money, except when it came to others. Phil, when talking about Project 7, classifies it as a financial loss for the t-shirts he helped finance, and more importantly, the props that he bought. This prop that Howard is holding is a Lancer from the game Gears of War and cost $300. It had less than 30 seconds of screen time and was even less relevant to the plot, yet was the majority of shared expenses. He would use this and other items.
Actually, if you want to know the truth, the handgun I'm holding was more expensive than the Lancer. So that gun in my hand is like $4.99. We were going to have a whole sci-fi episode, and it was going to have like scenes with Mass Effect, and I bought a life-size replica of the Avenger rifle from Mass Effect that lit up and fucking made all this sound, and that thing cost, I'm not kidding you, cost $799. So I lost a lot of money on this show overall. But they're talking about, oh, why didn't they just get paid? Because the show didn't actually make me any money. Guys, if you're here tonight, please click like on the stream, get some engagement. It helps this channel a lot, and please support the stream if you're enjoying it so far. This is ad-free. I'm not running any ads on here tonight, so anything would be appreciated. I want to keep my streak going of tips, so if we can hit that, that would be great. Thank you for your contributions. Let's continue.
To try to convince viewers and friends that Project 7 was not profitable, disregarding his egregious spending habits.
Yeah, it's more about respect and being fair.
It's about respect, man. You have no respect for your friends, for your family. You don't give a shit about anybody but yourself.
But he didn't justify that statement. All he did was say it, but he never justified it. What are you talking about? When did I ever disrespect everyone around me?
There were plenty of examples of DSP's poor spending habits. Few trump his 3 custom-made quilts. These quilts, individually and also factoring inflation, cost Phil a minimum of $1,000.
Let me think about that. Probably right. He's probably right.
He made a gross of $170,380 for 2012.
Probably close to true. I don't know if that's exactly true.
Probably got somewhere over like 10 to 11 million views on DSP Gaming, and then in 2012 I only barely reached like 8.5 million or something like that. I don't think the final number is in yet.
DSP lied and understates his views by nearly tenfold. Not only
I probably was talking about monthly. Probably meant, I would think.
Is this proven incorrect by archives such as Social Blade? This is proven incorrect directly on his own YouTube channel, where there are screenshots from the start of 2000.
Right, because I'm telling you, I probably meant monthly.
Even though he was now riding a downward trend, he could survive. His tune would change in the coming months, as he would have to navigate troubles that were exclusive to him and the culture he was inadvertently creating.
All right, this is the troll arc. Yes, for the most part, he covered the most dramatic stuff about the John and Howard and Project 7 situation, but he literally only took their side. He didn't even take anything from my rebuttal years later that basically said, no, most of the stuff they're saying is fake. He's just insanely jealous of me. It's not my fault. I love it. The other is that the guy is one of these gamers, like I mentioned, who play the games to feel accomplishment. What the? So this is me. I think this is me reacting to This Is How You Don't Play.
DSP is a weird guy. It's like a train wreck that you can't look away from that's on every day 10 times a day.
24 hours.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on.
I don't know who two best friends play are, but yeah, this kind of stuff started happening. Like, people started seeing This Is How You Don't Play.
How many more people are doing Let's Plays? Like, it's ridiculous the amount of people who have gotten into it, to the point where a website like YouTube, unfortunately, doesn't really feature anyone but the top 2 or 3 guys who are doing it. I mean, let's face it. Why do you always see the same people in related videos, featured videos? For the person who's not at the tippy top, it's so hard for people to get noticed now on YouTube.
Oh, were you expecting something else?
The irony is that Phil's accumulated viewership was influencing the algorithm to keep advertising his content.
Okay, I want to do some shout-outs before I get too backlogged here.
Was responsible for building his computer actually had a falling out with DSP, starting with Chris calling DSP lazy for initially not wanting to adapt to direct capture.
That is true.
Whenever I tried to help, he kind of just shot on me for it. So at that point, I was like, why am I going to support somebody who I've been trying to help for so many years? You know?
Whenever I tried to help, he shat on me for it, right? So if you preface it saying that I'm a dinosaur, I'm not going to listen to you. All right, in his mind, maybe he thinks I'm helping Phil, but if you come at me in a negative, awful way, I'm not going to give a crap about what you're saying.
You know, he had made a video basically stating that he has sent us apparently $3,000, and that wasn't the case.
Here's, I think, the video in question. Someone sent this to me this morning. This is the video. I'm going to show it to you. September 8th, 2013. Amazing. Had these lights and all these bells and whistles, had everything that I wanted. But I was looking at it, and it has this door. I don't know if you guys know, but on a lot of PC cases, there's a door on the front. You open the door, and inside you'll have your CD drive, your USB ports, and stuff like that. The door had a big crack on it. And I was looking at it like, how did that happen? Okay. But I didn't question it. So maybe, unfortunately, the case, you know, I think this is the timestamp, because this is someone sent me the video this morning. We found it, but this may not be the timestamp. We're close to it, though. It showed up damaged or whatever. I don't know. But I thought Chris would have told me that this case has a giant crack on the front of it, but he never did, all right? So I finally hooked the thing up. Come to find out, when I finally booted the thing up, okay, this is what I wanted. I wanted the amount, because initially what I wanted to be maybe between $700 to $1,000. By all that's said and done, first of all, I can't even tell you what it cost, because he sent me all the receipts. It's filed away in literally thousands of documents, and I can't find it right now. But what I did do is that I went on my PayPal to see how much money I sent to him directly through PayPal to build this PC. It ended up that I paid him almost $1,600 to build this PC by the time it was done. Now that okay.
The actual amount a DSP paid for the PC, as shown through Chris's receipt, and a few $100s extra that was sent, was off by a maliciously large margin.
So he's showing $1,200, and I'm saying $1,600. So we're off by that, but keep in mind, I said I checked my PayPal. So that was every transaction towards him from PayPal amounted to around $1,600, probably a little under, right? Maybe there's other things involved there, shipping, I don't know.
So I had actually made my own video defending myself, and I had shown the PayPal receipts of DSP sending the $1,600.
DSP to this day cannot provide evidence or reason why he claimed the PC cost $1,400 more than it actually did.
I have no idea.
To make matters even worse, it turns out Chris paid for the shipping out of pocket.
We actually paid.
Okay, well, he's saying that. I can't defend myself there because I have no evidence. I mean, we're talking about PayPal receipts from 12 years ago, so I can't dispute this.
And then there were videos coming out supporting Chris.
Very recently, there's been a lot of videos that have been coming out on YouTube about darksydephil, exposing him or whatever. The one that really got me was the one that was made by Chris, of Chris and Teo.
I know there weren't. At this point, there weren't. It was the This Is How You Don't Play videos were the ones that were coming out and getting traction.
One that was built on the common dislike of Phil. The threads were being intertwined in such a way that new channels making This Is How You Don't Plays would sometimes pay homage to Evil AJ.
Yep, this is totally true. Again, this is all my fault. I told you that previously. It was the trolls and detractors who were trying to wedge themselves between myself and John Rambo, right? They're literally trying to do that right now. I'm not even kidding you. Someone in chat's like, yeah, did you know that PPP's opinion on you has changed and he now hates you? And really? Really? He's on vacation, dude. So what the fuck are you talking about? Okay. Are we ready? Let's continue. Because already, that was like a half an hour stall for something that was so dumb. Like this right here, I think is way more funny and interesting and pertinent than what we just wasted all that time on.
Like there are people doing walkthroughs of this game and they can jump up here, and I can't do it at all. Look, I can't fucking jump up here. How are people able to jump up here? Look, I can't jump up here.
Oh my god.
Jump!
Crouch jump.
Jump! You fucking idiot!
Oh man.
Okay. Whew.
Viewers were quickly realizing that
wasn't even what you were supposed to do. Yep.
An additional purpose of these was to create videos that were shorter snippets of DSP rather than the long-form "this is how you don't" plays. Some just criticized DSP's habits outside of games, like DSP tries it, compulsive hoarding, and being a man-child. A video...
What was I thinking of with the empty cases? I was giving away all the collector's edition content of the collector's editions of games. So even though I was giving away an empty game case, I was giving you the art book, the soundtrack, all the collector's packaging and everything. I didn't have the game because I traded it in. Back then, my methodology was buy a whole bunch of games, play through them within a week or two, trade them all in together at GameStop to get almost all my money back, because back then you could do that. If you traded in 3 or more games at a time, you could get like a huge bonus on your trading credit. So even though I was buying an exorbitant amount of games, I actually wasn't spending that much money at the time, you see? But people were lining up in droves to get those cases. I had a forums, and I'm not even kidding you, hundreds upon hundreds of people would post in the forum, and I would use a random number generator to pick. I mean, at one point there was like 1,000 people posting in the forum to get that empty box because it was from DSP, because it was a bunch of collector's edition content they weren't going to get because they didn't buy the collector's edition, and I would autograph whatever they wanted. So to them, I'm giving them a free piece of memorabilia of their favorite YouTuber, and they loved it. But my detractor spun it as, oh, he just gives away empty game boxes.
His critics could be just as excessive with their own commentary.
Have you been on darksydephil's stream when he fucking flips out of people using adblock? About how you're it's like going into his house and robbing him and taking all his shit.
Good. They should find out where he lives and rob him. Like I gotta go to his house.
Man, you're taking
the ad block, right? Because at the time, they weren't called detractors at this point. I think they were I called them trolls or whatever. They were literally going around saying, just watch Phil's content with the ads off, with ad block on, excuse me.
As to only help the building tension, DSP set out on attacking other creators whose channels towered over his own.
Holy shit! Oh, no. This is true.
100 times the subscribers that Phil had, and there was no doubt that they shared viewers. So these comments assured that those viewers would not return to Phil. What's more is that Phil would talk about how big of a fan PewDiePie was of him.
Yeah, that's right. PewDiePie has said he was inspired by me to make videos. He used to watch my content back when he had no money. No, he didn't say that. That's a lie. Here is me being stupid, right? No, here's the truth. So, PewDiePie used to leave comments on my videos. To buy games, he would watch me play the games. That's how he got the idea to make his content. That's completely false. I have no evidence of that whatsoever. I made all that up.
PewDiePie did, in fact, like some of DSP's videos back in 2011. Though as Phil's barrage continued, PewDiePie would have a change in opinion. As for now, the other leading channel that he was personally at odds with was Tobuscus, who launched his own gaming channel. On top of that, he promoted NCAA Football 2013.
I fucking hated this guy at the time.
Games that were rising in popularity, like Minecraft for its lack of story. This made the rounds so much that even the creator of Minecraft commented on it.
Oh, I actually didn't know that.
With DSP's views still on decline and a decline in how DSP was viewed, it made for Phil's worst year yet. And in 2014, the detractor videos and memes evolved rapidly. Phil could only add fuel to their fire.
Okay, what is up, everybody? Oh, here it is. The video everyone loves to laugh at. That I freaking did an unboxing and I didn't unbox the game.
Mid-2014 finally committed to move. Some discernible reasons for our move were mainly tied to having a larger living space allowing for more storage, and would give Phil and Panda Lee their own space as they were seeking to move in together. Common strategies would suggest Phil would either sell or rent his condo, and then
before we get into this, I have a shout out to do. House/condo in Washington State. It's probably going to cost me about $7,500. I shit you not, it's that expensive to move across the country. It cost me way more than that. Right now, I'll be honest with everyone, the past month to 2 months, April and now May, up to now have been pretty slow. But, you know, I needed a little bit of help in these times when things are slow, okay?
The situation he was revealing was far more dire than initially thought. Phil was technically still in debt as he paid the minimum on his mortgage for his Connecticut condo, and as later revealed, Phil, as he claims, emptied his bank account to finance a move.
That's okay. So yes, I basically emptied my bank account to finance the move. All my savings went to like the down payment on the place and or furnishing this place. I had to pay for the move of all my shit across the country. So basically I had no cash left by the time I moved. Then I racked up a ton of credit cards, which I'm sure is what he's going to talk about next.
Meaning, somehow, the hundreds of thousands of dollars he should have saved were supposedly gone. In addition to this, he began using credit cards to continue his lavish lifestyle that was—
What he doesn't know, or what he doesn't address, all the money I made in my early days of YouTube paid off a lot of debt for my—
Quote, I'm a successful YouTuber and lots of people dislike me because I am successful and outspoken. I should have signed up here with a different name, but I didn't think that far ahead. I may do so now. Unquote. This was Phil in a forum for the mobile game WWE Supercard, which is essentially a collectible card game of sorts with an emphasis on microtransactions themed around the well-known American wrestling organization. Quote, I just got my second in the Hulk Hogan challenge and spent around $200. For $1,200, I think, you can buy a pack of 1,500 title matches, which is enough to win the event doing straight +5s. Unquote. The jargon around the game was hardly interesting to any detractor. What was Phil's knowledge of the cost of items and his spendings of potentially thousands of real-life dollars in a time he supposedly did not have any money to spend. Yet,
I've already fessed up to all of this, okay?
He was financing Panda Lee's new soap-making business. Phil also renewed the lease—
That is true, too. Once my equipment shows up, my new PC, I'm hoping to get to work with higher quality videos for you guys, so next week will be an interesting week to test it, right?
1, 2, 3, or 4 if you include the capture card Phil is using. That's how many capture cards Phil has.
No. It's 3. That extreme cap is the one I used for a whole decade and never bought another one.
He purchased 3 new ones to test them out. The comments discussed the absurdity of Phil's purchases. Quote, lol. So he ordered 1 capture card, changed his mind, and bought another. Then changed his mind again and bought another, all before the first could even be delivered?
I don't remember the specifics. I would think I probably ordered all 3 of them at the same time, but maybe I'm wrong.
You got more money than sense, or your credit card debt is rising. Wouldn't it be worth doing some research before buying them? Dude, you could just figure this stuff out with a Google search. Lol.
No, you can't. That's ridiculous.
See from Cyberpower within the week of the capture card video, and did the unboxing live, taking his chance to mock the PC Mighty Furtada built for him by stating,
This is how you do ship a PC. We already got a broken piece of plastic. Already a broken piece of plastic. That might be why the top is moving. Yep. The top, even with this PC, shipped that way.
The PC was $3,000.
Correct.
Here it is in action.
What the hell? Choppy, look. The game's choppy as fuck on my new PC. Great, yep.
So he didn't know that there was an option to switch from encoding with your CPU and encoding with your GPU. Like, he just didn't know how to use his PC.
Correct.
Do this. His cited reason, he was a gamer. Quote, I'm a gamer, not a video editor, entertainer, actor. I like to play games, not edit videos of them. Unquote. His choice of trying to improve the visual quality and not the experience of his streams was turning around to bite him at every angle.
Correct, because if you choose to ignore everything around you, you're never going to remain pertinent, right?
In November of 2014, a Twitch mod jumped into Phil's streams requesting he lower his bitrate. This is basically asking him to lower the quality. While Phil complied, he was unhappy with the outcome, especially with all the money he invested in improving the visual quality. In an act of defiance, Phil deleted his Twitch account, opting to stream on YouTube where
I didn't delete my Twitch account. I think I deactivated it.
This move, that was meant to increase viewership via higher quality streams, actually had Phil lose viewership, as few Twitch native users were loyal enough to migrate. Phil was now going from blunder to
I was not getting only 90 views a video. That's false.
making more vlogs showing his continued poor spending habits that were discourteous even to his parents that Phil set up in a hotel instead of having them stay in the condo.
My parents are visiting for the Christmas week holiday, and they actually took the car. That's right. I let them take the BMW. So yeah, that's a lot of trust, but I trust my parents. They actually are staying at a hotel that's less than 10 minutes away. We got them up. We set them up at room and board. It's a nice hotel.
How was that discourteous to my parents? It was a hotel that was 10 minutes away. That was a really nice hotel room that I paid for. And they didn't have to stay in the one spare bedroom of my house that was really small and not set up to be a bedroom.
Watching DSP, who was streaming around 6 times a week for several hours at a time, was no small feat. What started as laughing at Phil's terrible gameplay had turned into a higher investment into his continuing dramas.
Yes, so here we go. Here's when it goes from literally, okay, Phil is a bad gamer, to Phil is a bad person.
Phil's e-begging, conflicts, forum drama, a list of over 2,000 words. The most shocking fact was that it was still missing a fair amount of Phil's exploits. To capture it all and understand it all for entertainment was a process that loses its entertainment value.
And that's the thing, like, I want you to think about that. So these are the people who become obsessed. Most people are like, I'm happy to just laugh. I'll watch the This Is How You Don't Play and I'll laugh at Phil because he sucks at games, right? And it became a meme, and I reacted badly. But then you get the people who become the hyper-obsessed people who, like, it is now their agenda to memorize everything I've done, what they consider wrong, okay, in a year, and start fucking really getting crazy stalkerish, right?
The majority of people are only interested in the wildest clips of Phil. And then you have those that watch hour-long This Is How You Don't Plays, then those that interact with Phil to try to get a rise from him and seek discussion of him. And then you have an entirely different people, one that tops the spectrum of investment and are not motivated by entertainment, but malice.
The following announcement has been paid for by the
SOK.
Hello everyone and welcome to the SOK cast. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, I'd be more than
What's
happy
going on, everybody? Fred Fucks again.
And Superior Artist, or Superior Snorez.
This is Renegade Operative here.
Evil AJ 2010 here.
That's okay.
And Carson, right?
Yeah, Miles.
And we are going to be joined by Lupo572 shortly.
That was his son.
At this point, I might just let this play for a while, and I'll...
But when it came to the SOK, rarely did any other videos ever outperform Phil. The reason was that they were at the highest tier of investment in terms of Phil. They reached an extremely niche audience in an already superbly niche environment.
Right, if
it was terrible financial decisions. Possibly to offset his continued losses, Phil was committed to launching this Patreon. But there was an issue. There was already a Darksydephil Patreon. This had many subscription tiers. On the lowest side was $1, or This Is How You Don't Donate tier. On the highest end was the 7 million tier, or the theft tier. In between these were 15 more tiers, littered with inside jokes making fun of Phil. This parody Patreon, as it reserved the name Darksydephil, was sequestered, and in January, Phil launched his Patreon to mediocre success. In February, the number of patrons greatly rose to 74, paying out a total of $1,166. What influenced this surge was Phil redesigning his Patreon to center around milestones that once hit would guarantee the release of a video or a stream around a game.
And now I'll just say this, in retrospect, I bit off way more than I could chew, okay? I should not have approached Patreon in this manner because already I was working 6 to 7 days a week so much, and now I'm taking on even more responsibility.
During this time, some videos criticizing DSP were being taken down. While DSP blames these takedowns on Machinima acting in their own interest, viewers took it as DSP wanting to suppress the negative attention.
Which wasn't the truth at all. And I've already formally covered this. Last year, I did a special event on this channel about my history with Machinima, and I showed the receipts. I showed that Machinima, who was my partner network at the time, heard about This Is How You Don't Play and heard about my detractors, and they emailed me and said, Phil, we heard about this. We want to take action on it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to use your channel to issue strikes and things. They screwed it all up. They never should have done it like that, because even they didn't understand the nature of DMCA law. They were issuing these takedowns without the intention of ever suing anyone. They were actually doing it wrong, but they were doing it through my channel, so it made it look like I was the asshole doing it. So now all my detractors are pissed at me. Why are you taking down our videos? I'm literally not doing it at all. I literally did not. And now everyone hates me. All my detractors are after me because of this. Okay.
As these
and I have evidence. I have the emails. I showed the receipts last year.
Downs happened in March. The channels willing to fight the claims were reinstated in April. But when they were reinstated, they were immediately claimed, meaning that they could remain up, but all the money would go to Machinima.
There you go.
The same month, DSP released a video of him performing various actions in front of a green screen. It only took one day for a scathing video that utilized the green screen footage to be released.
I knew that they would do that, though, too. I didn't care.
This included reference to Phil's decline in views, his alcoholism, and the copyright strikes applied to detractor channels. Additionally, Phil's diet of fast foods was coming back at him in full force. After all, current day, there is at least 17.5 hours of footage of Phil consuming fast foods or foods of similar quality.
Yep. My foot is incredibly swollen. You cannot... Oh, the gout saga! The gout saga. I didn't know he was going to put this in here, but okay. Tell from what I wanted to show you there. It's about, I'd say about 1.5 times the chubbiness of my other foot. So after doing a bunch of research online and after what everyone's been telling me, it sounds to me like I might have gout.
Gout, or historically known as the disease of kings, is...
The what? The disease of kings? Hold on a second. King Phil?
As poor as Phil was with communication, there was one instance that him reaching out very well saved his life.
They all have these super... Yep. Uh-oh. Hold on. Hold on, everyone. Here it is. I might have some cops outside. Hold on. 2015 this happened when I was playing Batman Arkham City.
In the afternoon of June 24, 2015, someone called Phil's local police department claiming they had shot their parents and had a hostage. This was a swatting and the police had to respond. Luckily, Phil had called ahead in fears that something like this would happen. Due to that, and because the caller did not identify themselves, they went in with the expectation that they were possibly not in danger. If not for these circumstances, this visit could have ended far worse.
Yep. Shame on you. If you've ever made a This Is How You Don't Play about me, if you ever decided to follow me, make a clone account on Twitter, do this childish shit on YouTube, if you thought it was funny to dox me, if you thought it was the DDoS attacks were funny, you almost got me killed. You. Yes, you.
This shifting of blame and unjustly targeting the detractor community as a whole for the deranged acts of one person further soured relations with the detractors, yet gained a bit of sympathy for those that were not in this vortex.
So, to look at it now, of course, I don't think that This Is How You Don't Play has created that situation.
Little did Phil know there was more negative attention on him than ever before. His streams, tweets, forums, Patreon were all being monitored and archived. The following month, Phil on his own forums equated using the chat function on his live streams but not donating as loitering. But it's okay because he's lenient. As much as he claims to be, his audience from both sides were not convinced.
That's absolutely ludicrous. This is just me being really pissed off right here about dumb shit. You know, me being unhinged at the swatting and everything. It made me lose my cool and say dumb shit like this.
Especially with the troubles on his Patreon. A new milestone goal at $1,250 was Project 7.
I knew this was coming. So here we go. Let's tackle the Patreon thing.
Coincidentally, John Rambo on his own channel released a skit perhaps related to the news.
Hi, my name is John.
Well, I'll be honest, it's a little disingenuous because John was already kind of ghosting me and dodging me on working together and doing future projects and things. Already the friendship had unraveled by the time that this came out.
This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website that allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. Simply log in and transfer the entirety of your bank account into my Pay Me Tons account. I won't even get out of bed for less than $50.
With Phil's relation with John Rambo in disarray and no feasible way to relaunch Project 7, in August he announced the project would not be coming to fruition and would be replaced by another goal.
Actually, that's not what happened at all. Now, the true story of what's going on here is that Patreon goal was not Project 7 involving everyone else, and it's the old that series. It was the previous series, because what Joon didn't cover is that Project 7 originally was a little rinky-dink video series I had done in like 2009 or 2010. The original series was basically that I was stuck in my condo and this character named Deathface, where you could actually see dancing on screen right here with the $10 tip animation. Hey, that's Deathface. That this guy had kidnapped me and caught me in my condo and wouldn't allow me to leave until I played one of my most hated games of all time, the original version of Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 1. And it was going to be an ongoing series where I do an edited, abbreviated Let's Play with skits and shit in it, going between me and this Deathface character, and basically ranking on the game, but also doing funny things that were outside of the comfort zone of just doing raw gameplay. The Patreon goal was supposed to be I revived the original idea. So I sit down and offline, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII, and I'm doing edited videos and shit like that, okay? That's what it was supposed to be. Had nothing to do with John, had nothing to do with Howard, had nothing to do with Respect the Pack whatsoever. I told everyone, listen, my time is so pulled, tight right now. We could do two things. Either we cancel the whole thing and we'll have to think of something else, or I could do a trailer for Project 7. And my viewers, I'm not kidding you, said, we don't care about this Project 7. This was you coming up with this idea because you wanted a Patreon goal, but we don't care about it. So don't do it. Like, literally don't do it. We think that it's going to be boring. We'd rather see you play games and do other projects and other things. So I said, okay, we won't do it. Let's cancel the whole thing. So we did, and then I had another goal in place of it. Well, there was 2 people who were upset that were longtime fans. One forgave me, one did not. Everyone was fine with that. There was no big controversy in my community and viewers. It was only outside that these people would take this nugget of truth. Oh, Phil didn't reboot Project 7 like he promised, and turn it into something full-blown like, oh, he's a liar. He doesn't come through on his promises. He stole and pocketed money. He scammed his audience. It literally didn't happen. And now they all believe it. They all literally believe I scammed my viewers for Project 7 when it never happened. Okay?
Almost as if it was retaliatory, fan art that Phil used in his videos was being used to illegitimately strike his channels. To avoid further strikes, he deleted the videos that included the art, which amounted to 600 videos off his channel. This amounted to around 4 million views removed, and on Social Blade it showed that for the month of August he netted a total of negative 1.37 million views. That's why in November, he insisted that through a strange, unverifiable string of events, that this deletion of views was causing a drop-off in his channel. In this near 44-minute, long-winded video, Phil recounts to his audience that it was Machinima that instructed him to delete those 600 videos that caused a small dent in his total viewership, but does not provide evidence of Machinima doing so because he claims he was instructed via a conference call.
That's correct.
Then he claims an anonymous insider told Phil that this subtraction of views brought him down in the invisible total rankings, and that YouTube was still using that archaic system of promoting videos via their channel's total accumulated views. The only thing is...
No, that's not true at all. What happens is if YouTube sees that you have deleted several videos, or if your channel has a huge deletion of views, it sees that as something very negative happen, and the algorithm will no longer favor you.
That all existing evidence works against him. The strongest evidence is in his Social Blade. Contrary to what he is stating, he has had far worse drop-offs in views, and actually late 2015 were the most stable than they'd ever been. For November of 2011, he was losing over 1 million viewers on a daily basis.
That's
Yet now, in late 2015, he was worried about a small fluctuation of around 200,000 viewers. What's more, the deleted views against Phil's total views would have been so insignificant, it would have no effect on his channel. Then again, there is a benefit in...
That's wrong.
Fans seeking an update on John Rambo asked Phil where he stood with him.
I hope that people don't take this the wrong way, but in life, if you have something that you want to say, or you have an issue with someone, all right, say it, bring it up, hash it out. If something happens and you don't bring it up and you let resentment build up, that's when relationships get ruined, right?
Fans unsated with Phil's answer, like with the relaunch of Project 7, were reaching out to John Rambo on Thanksgiving to ask how he felt about Phil.
I want you to think about this. Fans were reaching out. Oh, you mean call me beggar? It's not my fans. It wasn't my fans reaching out to John Rambo. It was my detractors. Just like it was my trolls.
2 days later, on November 28th, they, including Phil, were given their answer.
Hello.
Here it is. Here's the video.
I'm John, and I'm joined by Howard.
This was the same podcast that was used earlier in this video that talked about the production of Project 7. John Rambo decided to upload this to a separate channel and then deleted it about a day after. Then it was re-uploaded in perpetuity by channels archiving the material. And
yeah, you have to wonder, when he uploaded it, right? He uploaded it, but maybe he felt bad that he had uploaded it. I think he thought, oh, maybe if I delete it quick, it'll go away. But no, that's the problem with the internet. When something's out there on the internet once, it's out there forever. So immediately it was re-uploaded here and here and here. Every one of my detractors re-uploaded this fucking thing.
At the end, John Rambo offers an olive branch by stating that a phone call could fix this. But Phil never did call. And so Phil lost touch with the last friend he had. Not even a month later, now closing 2015, Machinima informed
By the way, he was not the last friend I had. Okay.
Phil that they will no longer honor the $2 CPM contract and would instead swap to paying him with the raw ads, which would further decrease his earning potential. Everything appeared to be working against him, and the idea that was meant to breathe life into his channel did not come. What did come was something else.
Oh, here we go. So this is where we're gonna end it for tonight. I said the incident would be a perfect place to end it for tonight. So let's do the incident, and then that's probably where we will end it for tonight, okay? So by the way, last chance if you want to support the stream. It looks like the King streak may end tonight, because this is it. This is the finale of the stream for tonight, guys, okay? What is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh?
Phil attempted to dismiss what he was doing by saying he was doing quote-unquote various stuff, like scratching his leg.
That's right.
The Bombard. A new nickname was passed around as DSP would be known as the Guy.
You didn't even know the camera was on.
You know every inch of my dick and balls, right?
Because in theoretical conversation, when one introduces the subject of darksydephil, the other participant would respond with, "Is that the guy that pleasured himself on stream?" Phil handled this remarkably well, making jokes about it and accepting his new identity in stride.
You're absolutely right. That's what I'm known for.
You got exposed for doing that.
I got completely exposed.
His partners and Machinima were not so enthused, and sought to take down any re-upload they could find of the event. Whatever goodwill Phil had gained through the acceptance of this recent event was quickly lost.
And I did not tell them to do that.
In this single post on his forums, he insults 3 different creators who have audiences larger than his.
Because I'm a genius, right?
He calls Total Biscuit's reviews overanalyzing, calls Jim Sterling's reviews that fool you into thinking they're intelligent with fancy wording, and Angry Joe's reviews bloated with skits and cosplay for kiddies to retain attention. The cherry on top was the purpose of this post was to represent his own views.
Alright, do you want to know the absolute truth? Are you ready for this one, folks? I have never seen a piece of content from Total Biscuit or Jim Sterling.
As superior. Quote, or if you actually want an honest review from an honest guy who's played video games all his life, has a huge wealth of experience/knowledge to draw upon, and doesn't have any bias towards anything, you can watch my review. Unquote.
Right.
Persisting on this path of self-destruction, the following month, Phil made an Instagram.
This I remember. I basically took a stab at PewDiePie, and he gave me the stupidest response, and I was like, so confused. So let's see.
Post calling PewDiePie's new buck meaningless for brain-dead idiots. This produced a response from PewDiePie, who simply responded with, quote, DSP upset he can't read.
That was literally his response. DSP is upset he can't read.
The source of Phil's frustration was his continued bleeding of views. He was jealous, and over several posts on his forums, relentlessly defended the idea that not editing his Let's Plays is what made him popular, while simultaneously furious at being disadvantaged, stating that the only barrier between him and hiring an editor is money. There was something different in Phil going on here. A panic, a lashing out, a misrepresentation of the truth.
Correct.
Not
he is nailing it on the head right here.
He was arguing with individual members on his forums with multi-paragraph long responses.
For no reason. Why the fuck am I doing that?
To add salt to the wound, the infamous clip of Phil was strong in circulation even at the end of 2016.
Yep.
That face.
2017 started just as bad for Phil, as he announced that he had been renting his condo out in Connecticut, but that was no longer the case. More would be lost this year than any other.
Yep. Basically, what happened was, when I moved out of Connecticut, I couldn't sell the condo because the value of the condo had plummeted. This was the beginning of my monstrous financial downfall. This was the beginning of the end for me at this point. Okay?
On February 26, 2017, Phil participated with his viewers in a game of Quiplash 2. A game with pre-established questions that could be answered in any way. The goal is to win the favor of the competitors with the most compelling answer. This quickly delved into the memes both surface level and personal around Phil. For example, his seal laugh or ack ack ack.
DSP tries a KFC Gold Chicken or make more ad revenue than Phil. The seal, that's cool. They're both good.
None of these had any major effect as Phil played along with the roasts. It wasn't until a player shoehorned in an answer that caused chaos.
Leanna, I don't even know what that means. Leanna's fake engagement ring. Huh? What does that mean? I never gave her an engagement ring, so I don't know what that even means. I don't understand. Is there something in the detractor circles about a fake engagement ring? What are you talking about? I don't even know about this. Is there actually like some kind of a joke about an engagement ring? Huh? Leanna posted it on her own Twitter. What are you talking about? It's about one of her Twitter pictures. I really don't remember this at all. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm just as confused as that just shows how mind-fucked and stupid the people are who do this shit. These detractor idiots. Because no human would know what the fuck they're talking about. It's some completely inside... Fresh, right there in the chat, Fresh Jive TV said, bro, this is your girlfriend. You don't read her own Twitter post? No. I didn't read her Twitter at all. I never read her Twitter post. Joke they made up for themselves that no one would know anything about at all. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero fucking sense. And yet it ends up being the big winner at the end of the game. That's so fucking stupid.
As was revealed to Phil through a video game, Panda Lee had been wearing a fake engagement ring to her job. Dissatisfied in the relationship and the lack of progress towards marriage, this was her way of lashing out and participating in the drama on Twitter.
No, I don't know about this at all.
Quote, oh shit, he knows about the fake engagement ring I wear to work that I wear all the time? How could he have known? Unquote. Panda Lee then posts the ring itself, captioned with Ringgate 2017. Panda Lee allegedly also took off work to experience the live drama that was unfolding. With her displeasure with Phil near its climax, it was a surprise they did not separate there. In the limelight instead was Machinima. With the
No, I don't even remember. That's it?
Apocalypse in full swing, earnings down, and the company model a complete failure, they had less support to answer creators who were feeling the brunt of the loss of ad revenue. Contacts meant for dire situations.
Oh, no!
That's when on February 28th, a Machinima employee reached out to Phil and gave...
I used the wrong keyboard and it fast forward. Let's do this again. I screwed up. Sorry about that. What the hell's going on?
In the limelight instead was Machinima.
There we go.
With the apocalypse in full swing, earnings down, and the company model a complete failure, they had less support to answer creators who were feeling the brunt of the loss of ad revenue. Phil, being one of these creators, reached out, but Machinima was slow to answer. And so he was emailing not just former employees that had been fired without his knowledge, but emergency contacts meant for dire situations. That's when on February 20...
That's not true. At all.
As seen per Fred Fox capturing of Phil's Twitch chats, Phil was acting as if he was blindsided by his own requests, stating, quote, there is no 2 or 1 month notice. That is complete BS, lol, but this situation is pretty unique, unquote. In a video released shortly after, Phil dissects his separation of Machinima, then dissects it again and again and again, then loses train of thought, thanks his followers, asks for donations, and again restates what has been overtly established, yet never provides a satisfactory answer. That's why his video is nearly 2 hours long to explain that the contract with Machinima has been terminated. And as per the description, quote, I cannot give all the details, but in this video I explain what's going on, unquote. This is all beyond minutia. That, besides Phil's uncreditableness or dishonest nature, is why few would ever care for his side of the events. His long-windedness buries his own reasoning or retelling of events even further than it.
This is cool.
In April, Phil submitted to Panalee's request, and per her Instagram post, were now engaged. The detractors' persistent monitoring allowed them to find the ring almost immediately. It was one that Pandalee personally liked on her Black Currant account, which is the name of her soap-making business. Detractors, tracing this back to Amazon, found that Phil had spent on the lower end for this ring. A testament to his detractors' obsession and/or Phil's dwindling finances. By May, Phil had concluded a 2-month-long talk with a different network that introduced themselves as Poltavi. They offered Phil a cut similar to Curse and a managed partnership. And while he found Poltavi unprofessional in their exchanges, he found their offer to be too enticing to give up, and severed his partnership with Curse, though Phil had made a great mistake.
This is all untrue. Well, it's half true, okay? So Poltavi is a scam. They don't exist. They were a different company entirely. They had lied about who they were. But I had talked to Curse about this, and I said, I like being with you guys, but I mean, you have to understand this company is like promising me the world. I'd like to experiment with them, but I'm not going to give them full control of my channel. I said, I'm going to give them only control of one. I'm going to see if they live up to their promise of making it a managed partnership. If they do, then I'm going to go fully with all 3 channels. If not, I'd like to really go back to you guys right away. And Curse 100% understood what I was saying and said, yeah, if you can get a managed partnership with someone else, we understand why you would want that. Go with it. And if it doesn't work out, come back to us. Okay, so I had this agreement with Curse behind the scenes. I never fully trusted Poltavi at all. I never gave them access to all 3 of my channels at all, because I did think that they were over-promising a lot of shit, and I wanted to test the waters and see if it was going to work or not. Okay?
Poltavi's unprofessional nature was foreboding, and they quickly turned around and disregarded the partnered element. With all this happening in the background, the sons of Kojima found out through Phil's channel's source page that he had a new partnership. Not with Curse or even Poltavi as Phil understood it. He was partnered with an entirely new network known as Rivalry Media. And as revealed, was using Poltavi as a front to disguise their own network and shady practices. The CEO was found to be just a student at a university. Phil, understanding his mistake, sought to leave his new network. The sons of Kojima allegedly even got the CEO of Rivalry Media on for one of their podcasts. This was a confusing set of events for everyone involved. While all this was going on, Phil was in the process of purchasing a new car. For the past 6 years, he had been leasing a BMW. In the last 3 years, he had only driven the BMW 6,000 miles, and so never changed the oil.
Yeah, BMW, that's true.
That's why, whenever other content creators discover both, it makes for an interesting watch.
In 3 years, we only drove the car 6,000 miles. So, if that gives you any idea...
Hey, what?! He leased a car for $400 or $500 a month, and he's only drove it 6,000 miles in 3 years?
I barely drove at all. Cherry Dude's like, oh, you could have engine damage. No, Cherry Dude, that's not how it works. BMW has a diagnosis computer inside of the car that tells you when things go wrong. So if there were engine damage...
Oh my god! Hey, this guy is a living meme! No, it's not. BMW has diagnosis computer in the car, okay?
And they never, it does. BMW does have a diagnosis computer in the car that tells you when things are wrong. That's completely true. They never contacted us to get it changed.
Why would they contact you to change your oil?
Because under the terms of the lease, BMW is responsible for all maintenance on their cars, and they are supposed to contact you when you have the time limit expire to change the oil. But because I moved the car from Connecticut to Washington, they shirked all responsibility and pretended like they didn't have to do anything. I called, and the place out here was like, we don't service your car. That's a Connecticut car. You only get that service in Connecticut. I was like, what? So I got fucked. BMW literally fucked me, okay?
Destiny, the person reacting to Phil's explanation, calls Phil the salesman stream. Wanting to help Phil out, Destiny jumped onto Phil's stream and began typing in his chat, attempting to provide financial advice. Phil, of course, ignored this, and on his forums he posted, quote, Destiny, a Twitch streamer who I never even heard of before 2 weeks ago, came into my chat and practically begged me to stop what I'm doing and talk with him. What the fuck can this guy tell me about buying cars that I don't already know? This guy probably didn't know I went to school for finance.
That's great. No, that's really great. That's hilarious. No, he didn't jump into the chat, all right, during my stream and be like, hey, you know, you're talking about cars and I want to help you out. No, I was playing a video game. I was doing a video game stream. I remember it was that game Prey. And I was not talking about cars, nothing. He comes into my chat and he's trying to derail my entire stream. Hey, can you drop everything you're doing right now with your business to talk to me about buying a new car? No. Hold on one second, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm getting an important phone call. Folks, I've got a family emergency. It came... Oh, is this... Okay. This is, I think, where I wanted to end it. This is the next topic, correct? Yes, this is the breakup. So, all right. This is where we'll end it for tonight. Perfect. Now we know where to end it. Delete here. Submit. Okay. As of now, you should be able to say WWE Champions in chat. I mean, we're going to be talking about it a lot tonight. So you should be able to talk about it in chat. Okay? All right. And as always, guys, I have demonetized this stream. There will be no commercial break advertisements whatsoever. That way the live audience is not interrupted while they're here live. I don't want them to miss anything because an ad pops up. But I would ask, if you are here and you are enjoying the live react, then please support the stream in some way, because that's how I'm going to make any kind of income on tonight's stream. Okay? All right, ready? Without further ado, here we go. I have to deal with it now. So guess what? Sadly, the podcast has to end. I can't finish my story right now.
Phil had received a call from Panda Lee's job. She had experienced an anxiety attack and was being driven to the hospital by paramedics.
That is... Yes, that's correct.
Phil then met her at the hospital after picking up her car. He found her in a sedated state, and after a 3-hour-long wait, they released her with no additional treatment. Frustrated at the lack of attentiveness, Phil said,
So now she's zonked out. She's sleeping, you know, in the room because of, you know, everything. She's still on the pills made her all loopy or whatever. So, I mean, we did on the way home. I stopped and we got food. We grabbed like chicken sandwiches and we just ate them, and now she's sleeping. So that's what happened. Unbelievable. Like, just look at me. Dude, look at me. Look at my face. You can watch it if you want. I'm not going to get into that tonight. That's not the purpose of the documentary. But basically, people saying you shouldn't have said anything, right? I shouldn't have said anything at all because it's her personal medical history. And in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, you're right. I basically should have just come and said, you know what? It's none of anyone's business what just happened. If ever we decide to talk about it publicly, we will. But I can't tell you what just happened. I'm sorry. But instead, I told the whole story. And I shouldn't have done that at all. And that's on me. 1,000,000%. It's my fault. All right? Okay. Oh, my God. The thing is, I know if this ever happens again, I'm going to tell them, you are not allowed to bring her to the hospital. No, you get no permission to fucking do it. You can't give her a pill. You want to give her a pill, and that's it, because you're just going to waste our time again. Yeah, because we were both upset, for the record. We were both incredibly upset with the way they handled it. They basically went there, and she was having a panic attack, right? So they did something to sedate her. I don't know if it was a pill or whatever. They took her to the hospital. They left her in a fucking hospital room for over 3 hours. No one came to talk to her. Not even a doctor. They just left her in a room by herself for 3 hours and told her nothing. She didn't know what was going on. She was completely confused. And then after me showing up and spending time with her for like 2 hours, someone comes in after, oh, are you okay? You ready to go? What are you talking about? What do you mean we're ready to go? Yeah, you ready to go? Here's some papers on counseling if you need it. So now what, you're going to charge us thousands of dollars for this fucking stay because you decided to haul her here to the hospital, and now you did literally nothing? Do you really think she would have said, take me to the hospital, if you knew she was just going to sit in a room for 3 hours and no one was going to help her at all? It was incredibly fucked up what they did to her. That's what I was upset about, and that's what I'm saying here. I'm not saying if she willingly wants to get medical treatment, she shouldn't get it. I'm saying, dude, the American health system's fucked, because now she's going to get a bill for thousands of dollars for being in the emergency room, and now she has to pay it. And they didn't even do anything. That's fucked up. That's how our medical system works here. It didn't help us at all.
To some, this looked like Phil was dismissing Panda Lee's issues or minimizing them, which is what he was now getting backlash for. What they didn't know is that Phil and Panda Lee had broken up some time before the anxiety attack, which is also a possible factor that may have induced it. Yep. He announced this at the end of May. Now, for the first time ever, Phil was in Washington in complete isolation. Mockingly, a few dating adverts were made to remedy his newfound loneliness. Then there was a song request.
89.7 KACC, we got a dedication in. These kids and their names, I swear. So, darksydephil wants to dedicate a song to Panda Lee. He wants to dedicate Baby Come Back by...
Who would have even known this unless some loser does it, records it, and posts it on, like, Kiwi Farms, right? And this is dumb, like, this is such dumb, immature shit. Obviously, I didn't know anything about it. This is the first time I'm ever hearing it. Like, how is this even, like, pertinent or funny? It's just so stupid. It shows what a loser they are. No one would know about this unless they put it in, like, a troll sector, correct?
Player? I don't know what to say, guys. Okay, so, anyway, here's Baby Come Back by Player, and they actually wanted me to say Baby Come Back, ack. I don't get it. I really don't get it with these kids. But yes, darksydephil.
No one gets it. No one gets these kids because they're all mentally fucking ill. They're asking you to do dumb shit, and they're cracked in their heads. They have no fucking intelligence.
Here's your dedication to Panda Lee.
In many ways, Phil was defeated, but he would not be Phil if he wasn't persistent in getting others to dislike him. On his Twitch chat, a place only the current viewers are meant to see, Phil, in jealousy of popular creator iJustine, typed, quote, iJustine is busy getting gangbanged by EA executive staff all weekend. The only fucking reason she was actually hired in the first place, lol.
So, yeah, this is basically around the same time. I would say it was right around E3 time, because I think this was in reference to an E3 that year. This is just in my chat, in my fucking stream chat, and obviously, you know, my head is not screwed on right at all. You see, that's how fucking weird it is. So, they screen capped it, they sent it to iJustine. Now, let's see if he says that.
Prominent detractor accounts took this screenshot and were quick to not only spread it on Twitter, but also tag iJustine in it. To much surprise, iJustine responded, quote, why don't you stop spamming everyone? He clearly has issues, unquote. And Phil did have issues.
That's completely true. That she actually said the most pertinent thing possible. Yes, that's completely right. I was having some pretty bad fucking issues at the time. That's correct.
10 years, Phil has had a dream job meant to provide steady, easy income, while allowing one to work within their own set hours. Phil, on the other hand, had nothing to show for his near-decade-long residence. The stinging fact was he lost far more than he gained, and for a period he seemed starkly aware. Quote, I haven't had real in-person social interaction on a regular basis since like 2007, before YouTube started. Once I started YouTube, that all went away. That's part of the sacrifices I keep bringing up to make this work. I can't have regular friends with the amount of time I put into this job. When I lived in CT, I had tons of money. As soon as I moved out here, poof, gone, unquote. It is clear that he regrets his move, but he cannot accept it is his fault.
Wrong. I don't regret my move.
That's when people ask if he maintains social relationships. Quote, I talk to tons of people on a daily basis. A user then asks, I mean like relationships or friends outside of Twitch. Phil responds, I don't have time for in-person friends.
That's correct.
I'm constantly working. You realize I haven't had a day off since my time off in July, right? This is my life, and has been for quite a long time before I moved out here.
And that's my life right now. I work 6 days a week full time. I have to make ends meet, to pay the bills. That's what I've had to do for a very long time. The 1 day a week I take off, I'm running errands, I'm grocery shopping, and I'm spending time with my wife. And then I'm right back to the grind. And that's been my life ever since I moved out here.
These can be small by typing messages in his chat to get a reaction or requesting a song on the radio. That is the simple basis of trolling. The overall effects are minimal and hardly controversial. Then you have those that feel personally slighted by Phil and seek revenge. This is where the illegitimate copyright strikes come from. They want Phil to fail in any way, and few strategies are out of their purview. Truly, the only defense in this space is self-awareness and anonymity. These members lack both. And the most interesting part is all these people inhabit the same space. Whether it be the forums or Phil's chat, they can be seen arguing endlessly. It is only a community out of...
For the record, Kiwi Farms are not my forums. The way he just said that, it made it sound like I run Kiwi Farms. I do not. That is a independent website run by Josh Moon. If you want to know about that, go watch the Kino Casino show that we did with Josh a week and a half ago, where I basically grilled him on it. Do not even for a moment make people think that I run kiwi farms. Hell no.
Convenience and nothing else. That's why it may look like the sons of Kojima would sit on top of this virtual hierarchy. But in actuality, the only thing they have claim to is they're the ones most dedicated to Phil. The group watches his streams for hours at a time to no benefit other than that claim. They are united by an overweight, middle-aged, failing, ailing creator. They were persistently hated.
Overweight, middle-aged, failing, ailing creator.
Most dedicated channels, Twitter pages, and groups made for the sole purpose of following Phil are highly scrutinized. And if they become obsessed to the point they no longer represent any niche, they will always fail. That's why the Sons of Kojima collapsed in late 2017. Their leader, Fred Fox, was highly paranoid, morally confused, overall an oblivious individual. There were also times when they invited Mr. Medicare on, a creator well known for his banter.
Okay, how much money would it take, this is for all of you, for one of you to suck Phil's cock? What is the donation amount that would be required for you to get on your knees and orally pleasure Phil?
Whoever asked that, fuck you.
That means he's considering a number. You went silent because you.
I'm not gonna answer because I'm not interested in that. That's fucked up.
So you're telling me you're not going to suck a dick for $10 million?
No.
Really? You wouldn't suck a dick? You wouldn't get on your knees and slurp up some mayonnaise for 10 million fucking dollary dues?
I don't want to lose my dignity.
See, here's the thing. Like, the trolls that I have cannot take it. They dish it and dish it and dish it and dish it and dish it, but they have no concept of how to take it. They are good at being the punchers, but man, when it's their time to get punched at, they can't dodge for shit. They're like Glass Joe. They're like, ooh!
Who gives a shit about dignity? You got $10 million in the bank. You can make people forget with the money. You can black hole that shit on the internet. Does the thought of Phil gently rubbing your hair as he comes in your mouth, does that bother you that much?
What the fuck? It's just so wrong on so many levels.
Well, there you go. They refused to answer. But if you notice, when I asked that question, they all went silent because they were thinking of a number. Every one of them was thinking of a number.
Some comments under this near 50-minute long video read, quote, Christ, without any DSP material to commentate over or talk about, these guys just got nothing.
Exactly. And that's exactly the same thing for every single detractor I've ever had. The only reason they exist is because they have me and I don't fight back. So they just keep going, riffing on me. But when they get anything turned against them, they're done. And what they don't realize is if I just turn off the stream and never turn it back on, their actual pertinence to the internet vanishes instantly. They are nothing but parasites on my back.
On Instagram, there was a new strategy of trolling through indifference. No matter what picture Phil posted, there was bound to be tens, if not hundreds of comments stating two words. Well, really just one word with two variations. Comments were either okay or okay. Without fail, these cropped up and overwhelmed any other comment.
Yeah, but I never read the comments.
Even just comments wanting to understand what was going on were met with a single response, okay. Phil even treated his audience to a pretty unique unboxing video.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phil here, and welcome to a pretty unique unboxing video.
Phil thought that this video was unique because of what he was unboxing. What made it unique was for the first 3 minutes, his reflection was easily visible. And he was doing two things. He was swaying left and right, and he was doing his famous T-pose. Phil had swayed much in the past, but rarely was it not in first-person view.
Oh, is that where the T-pose came from? I had absolutely no idea. I just learned that for the first time. So that's thing number 2 or 3 that I've now learned for the first time. I had no clue. The reason that I do that is because of my back. My back, if I just stand completely still for an extended period of time, I actually feel uncomfortable. A gin and tonic or two every once in a while, maybe a few times a week at night to unwind, especially if it's been a stressful day or if my back's hurting me. And yes, I do have a drink. Some gin and tonic. I guess I'll start the night right with a sip. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. I have a drink tonight. I have a gin and tonic next to me, which I'll be sipping from time to time. I won't be downing the whole thing.
It was not often that Phil drank on stream. However, this proclivity did extend outside of his streams. Sometimes the bottle or mixed drinks made his way into his vacation videos.
Everything else here, including the gin, which I'll probably drink mixed with that.
Now keep in mind, this is spanning a 16-year history, okay? So, I mean, I didn't even document that many vacations, maybe a few. And yeah, a couple of them I had gin. Yes, I would drink every once in a while, like Joon says. It was infrequently, but this became a meme with my detractors that Phil just literally drinks gin all the time, and he even has it in the thumbnail of the documentary because of that. It's like, it actually couldn't be further from the truth. Like, I'll be honest with you guys right now. You ready? I drink probably tequila, vodka, and rum way more than I drink gin. If I drink anything right now, recently, I probably would have been having some tequila. Hyper focus on one little thing. Okay. Sprite.
To indulge so much cost Phil a fair bit. But now, in addition to owing money to credit card companies and the like, he, in September, found that he owed money to a fierce collector.
I get this letter, all right? Oh, this is the beginning of the taxes saga. For sure, this is the taxes saga. Here we go. I get this letter, and the letter says, we suspect that you are doing business in the state of Washington under the name DSP Gaming, okay? We believe that you need to register and pay state business and occupation taxes. Please answer all of these questions for us. If you want to know, I actually now know the true story of what happened. Would you like to know what happened? It was my trolls. You want to know what they did? They registered my house on like Google Maps or Google Business as a registered business.
It wouldn't allow viewers to analyze his new purchases, his eating habits, anything that can be used against him, or even the people around him. Keeping Kat anonymous was likely Phil's attempt to protect her, though it did have its weakness and was immediately exploited.
So they fabricate this story that, here we go. Now it's time. I guess the taxes saga wasn't very big. It was very lame, actually. He didn't go into it too far. So this is the escort saga, which I have no involvement with whatsoever. I literally have no involvement with this at all. This is all on my trolls and crazy people, okay? I hired an escort to come visit me during my Christmas break. I paid her. You guys like the Phil show? Look at this.
In December 2017, a mysterious woman claiming to be a high-end escort with a history with Phil was claiming that Phil had not paid her, and if she did not receive the money owed, then she would release all the details of the event. And so she did. On Kiwi Farms, she developed a somewhat shallow story of Phil taking her out to dinner and spending a fair amount of money on her. Sprinkled in are notes about his bad credit, his disappointing manhood, and general notes on his house.
By the way, please consider supporting the stream. We hit that 150 goal. We continue the King's streak. Here we go.
This reads as too good to be true, as it's hitting the notes that want to be heard, while simultaneously not providing evidence outside of a testimony. The Kiwi Farms users were highly skeptical, but even so were enjoying the chaos this person was causing. But day after day of not providing a single piece of evidence and users finding strange inconsistencies in her story, it was clear that the pieces were not fitting.
No, I'm going to be honest here. This is complete bullshit. They totally entertained this for many, many months and never really complained. And then all of a sudden, like, one person actually researched it and found out the truth. And then other people started researching it and then they found out the truth. Oh, no, they loved it. Because they're going to spin it. They spin it to this day. Oh, we're the reason we found out that this was fake. I told you it was fake. I told you there's literally no evidence whatsoever. It's all circumstantial. You made it up. But no one wants to believe Phil. Everyone wants to believe the negative dramatic about Phil. There wasn't a single piece of evidence this person ever presented that wasn't just circumstantial, and it proved nothing. But people hate me so much, they all believed it for like many months. And then after many months of this going on, someone finally wised up and figured the whole thing out. Which is fucked up that I get basically shat on for so many months for absolutely no reason and no evidence.
Until this fake escort's identity was found under a different name, Angelina Capri, that the true culprits were unmasked. It was quite easy to find the domain registry, and with it came the identity. The culprits quickly tried to amend this information, but it had already been archived. The original registry had their full name, address, phone number, and their email. This gave the Kiwi Farms users everything they needed, and soon the culprits were fully doxxed, including their cat. Revealed and archived was their personal YouTube channel, one of their daughter's YouTube channels, Twitter's photo buckets, a lengthy history of information that was more than enough anyone needed to confirm this married couple ran an extortion and impersonation racket.
Just think about that. A married couple is running an extortion and impersonation racket, and apparently what they were trying to do was get so much negative shit out there about me that then they were going to blackmail me into paying them money. What they didn't realize, ladies and gentlemen, is that they already were fucking with the most hated man on the internet.
Phil would cave in and reveal his girlfriend Kat, who moved in shortly after.
Number one, like I said, it's the best relationship I've ever been in my life, okay? I feel like she's my soulmate. I do. I truly do. And I am in love with her, absolutely. She's in love with me. And if she were to move in, number one, she has a job that she, can probably find a job out here similar or whatever and make income to help immediately. It sucks. I was so sick. I remember I was really sick this Christmas, but I needed to do my marathon and everything. I had to work. So here I am toughing through. My throat's all fucked up and shit. That's why I sound so bad. Number two, cooking and everything, helping with the responsibilities of the house so I can get back to how I was.
And cook Kat did. The pair seemed well off. Even if Kat did appear awkward and uninteractive on stream, her uncombativeness was welcome. Where this Kat reveal caused relief.
The reason that he said that, her uncombativeness was welcome, because my ex was so combative with the audience, and people were like, wait, she's like the polar opposite.
The next Kat reveal only brought frustration. What Phil was currently revealing was a sponsorship from OP Seats. The same day Phil revealed it, OP Seats terminated their contract with Phil due to the backlash they were getting.
So let's talk, because I want to tell you the full story of how I one prime example of why I basically cannot get sponsorships. This is it right here. Dead on, 100%. Here we go. Change sponsorship. And then all of a sudden, because of the actions of trolls, the sponsorship is now gone. Okay?
Even so, in February, Phil procured a different sponsor but remained with a similar product of a gaming chair. Gaming chairs across the board are disreputable for their style of function. That was not the only reason SpawnSeats, the sponsor of Phil, was getting backlash. As it was discovered, this new company was not really a company at all. It was a person drop shipping cheap gaming chairs with an inflated price. So not only did this new sponsorship fall through, the company attached to it failed along with it. Phil was hardly sympathetic.
Fact of the matter is, folks, it doesn't really affect me because guess what? I mean, I got the chair. I got the chair already. That's why I didn't do a lick of promotion until I got the chair. And I talked to the guy up front about this, the possibility of nasty shit happening. And he said, no, I understand. Don't worry, we'll put up with it. It is what it is, guys. I'm sorry, I never used that was so based. I'm sorry, that was a based comment. Because it's true. I told the guy up front, I was like, I already had a sponsorship with the chair company, and my trolls harassed them, and it fell through. And he's like, that's okay, we'll still handle it. I was like, are you sure?
Much as detractors work to spoil his mood, they can hardly compete with the natural and novel interactions Phil has, like with this 11-year-old on VR chat.
Can we please go in?
This dude, we're gonna do this one. This is funny. Let's do it. Ready? Here we go. Sure, where is the waiting room?
Right behind you, idiot. You click on that.
Call me an idiot. You didn't have to call me an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, if you look around, you would have been able to know.
What a brat. Is it my first time ever playing VR chat? I walk into a random room, right? And I'm just looking around. Like, literally, I'm just looking around. And the brat runs up to me and says, go to the waiting area. Okay, well, where is it? Right over there, you idiot. What the fuck? I just showed up. It's like my first experience ever playing this game. And this is immediately what I'm presented. Like, what?
It literally says waiting room on top of it.
Wow. You're quite rude.
Wow. I'm 11. Deal with it.
Good, now I'm away from that annoying fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life if they fucked with me like that. I would have fucking pimp slapped that shit out of that. Now, do you really think I would have pimp slapped the shit out of that kid in real life? No. I would never strike a child. But it's funny to say, if they're gonna fucking say shit to me in an online setting, that I could say shit back, and there's nothing they can fucking do about it, right? You wanna know the truth? My trolls mass flagged that video saying that I was bullying a child, okay? YouTube, being stupid, actually flagged my video and said that I had broken community terms of service. I disputed it and I got it removed. I said, you're out of your mind. The child is not there. I'm not slapping a child. What are you talking about? You even understand the English language? So they reversed it. So yeah, shit like that. I'm not kidding. Every moment, everything I say on a stream, they are always mass flagging me and trying to get me into trouble for shit that I didn't do anything wrong. Like, what did I do wrong there? Nothing.
This Pokemon-themed pixel art was made to commemorate the occasion. These small moments carried Phil's live streams for 2018. Nothing individually significant happening, but enough happening to remind the internet of his existence. This all hardly competed with ongoing events, relative to the collaboration between popular live streamer Ninja and popular musician Drake.
This is great. This is great too. I'm happy he put this in there. I can't wait to comment on this one. So here we go.
DSP was practically non-existent, until he began tweeting about their collaboration, starting by calling Drake and Ninja overrated. Phil sought to detract from this collaboration, from the likes of which were rarely, if ever, seen. Tweet after tweet, he argued with Twitter users. At some point, he even slided PewDiePie, claiming he is a product of hype and not quality content. Either of these interactions...
Now, in reality, this is probably me. I wonder, because he doesn't have date and timestamps on here, okay?
...struck a chord, or Phil was just in many prominent content creators' minds, as in not-so-quick succession, they took their turns mocking Phil. Like iDubbbz promoting the idea of Phil doing a collaboration with any rapper. In the background, there were leaks about Phil...
I didn't know about that. I also don't care. Who gives a fuck what iDubbbz has to say today? Take a look at that guy.
...wanted to take down a video that for a short moment mentioned the escort saga. But in the foreground was PewDiePie.
You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looked like. Onion Man versus Soy Boy.
iJustine was goaded into another response from the same quote. And Phil finally also made it into a Watch Mojo video.
This Twitch user had the bad idea of prematurely turning on his camera.
It's completely wrong. This Twitch user, I wasn't doing that on Twitch, that happened on YouTube. You see this fucking piece of garbage disc? Fuck it. It's gonna stay back there forever. I'm never fucking picking it up again. Don't ever ask, is this where the rumor or the puppet came from or whatever? Because I didn't even know that this was real. Ask me to play that fucking game again. That's the worst fucking game. That game is way worse than Revolution 60. Seriously.
You click on that.
You didn't have to call me an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
This video would be honored by the creation of its own snore compilation. This emphasis on creative ways to mock Phil made the latter half of 2018 appear creatively bankrupt in comparison.
So whatever happened to that puppet? That puppet is amazing. I want it.
In the same vein, Phil was also suffering from his own potential bankruptcy.
Basically, in a nutshell, without going into too much detail, I'm not partnered anymore.
In July, he announced that he had split from Curse, claiming the separation to be amicable. Now, having to rely on his own, unsuspended AdSense account, Phil found that he was making far less than he was with his partnership. On top of this, his views were halved without explanation, going from an average of 2 million a month to hovering just around 1 million.
Yeah.
And so Phil did what he calls an emergency livestream.
Yeah, and I have no idea what happened there. In addition to my normal income, I need to raise about another roughly $16,000 between now and April.
This plays into why Phil is labeled as an e-beggar, a person that petitions, guilts, or even demands donations from their audience. While it is normal for streamers to subtly stimulate donations through appreciation, Phil's tactics are more direct.
So, oh, excuse me. It's like the guys at Kino Casino say, ask and you shall receive. Every once in a while, bring it up. Right now, I take a look at the stream. We got over 1,100 viewers. We have 250 likes. Let's get it to 300 right now. If you guys are watching this stream right now and enjoying, please click like. It helps this channel tremendously. It helps me. It makes more content to be made, right? Please do some super chats, maybe some gifted memberships to the community, and let's hit this tips goal right here of 150 to keep this king streak alive and going. Let's keep the hype going. Let's felt my detractors. You see, you get hype. It's positivity. When you spin it like that, instead of, oh, woe is me, I need monies because so I have bills to pay, and no one wants to hear that shit, right? Taxes are going to be my main thing I have to figure out this year. Making enough money not only to pay the bills, but my taxes are coming up, and right now I'm focused on just getting through this year, hopefully being able to pay my taxes somehow. I'll be honest with you guys. Yeah, taxes are always something that are on my mind. I've got tax payments due. My state taxes are due in January. My federal taxes are due in April. If I could get through paying the taxes for next year, the federal taxes, their taxes were high. Things like tip goals and the like on stream to try to raise funds for my taxes and all that.
This very much works. In December, Phil's relentless discussions of money launched him into the 4th highest number of Tier 3 subs. These are subscribers that cost $25, and somehow Phil got 204 of them.
Yes, because this was one person. This was one incredibly generous person who came on Twitch and gifted all of those to the community. Actually, we had more than 204. Did we not? Didn't that person come on and gift like insane amount? I think they did. I want to say they gifted more than that. Maybe I'm just misremembering because it's been so long. But yeah, like they came in and they just gifted like crazy. It was wild how much they did. And it was within like 2 weeks they did it too.
With an average of 372 viewers means that each viewer paid on average $13 solely.
So just think about that. That was what, what year is that? We're talking about 2018? So in 2018, I only had 372 viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I have 1,142 viewers.
Your 3 subs. But also the donations are disproportionate as subscriptions can be gifted. Donations and other tiers of sub
they were literally all gifted, every one of those.
Have also been taken into consideration. And Phil also receives donations that for the time being were not accounted for. Typically, surges in donations or the like are linked to unique or interesting streamers rising in the ranks receiving donations to produce more of their content. And to Phil's credit, he was planning to do something unique. Something no streamer would ever even consider. And that is a marathon to raise money to pay for his taxes.
All right, it's going to be via tips, meaning the only real viable way for you to contribute and help me out in this situation is to tip me, because you tip me via sending funds to my PayPal, and that allows me to... I do wish that his editors did a better job with the audio, because I could barely hear myself talking right now. But then again, that was my setup's fault. My setup, the audio was super low for many years. I don't know why. To have those funds right away and put those funds toward my taxes.
The marathon was to take place in March of 2019. The goal was to raise around $5,000 through tips. 2018
or 19, did he say? I cleared my throat and I missed it. Can I go back? How do you go back 10 seconds? Okay. And put those funds toward my taxes.
The marathon was to take place in March of 2019.
It was 2019. Punchiest Onion did a super chat, says, did you ever annoy yourself with the begging? Can I be honest with you? I hate it. I hate having to beg on stream. All I want to do in the morning is turn on my stream, hang out with you guys during a fun podcast, turn on a game and play it, or do something together, whatever it is. It's React Day, we watch clips together. I love that. I love the social aspect. All I want to do is be able to do that. As soon as I moved across the country and all the hater shit started, it was issue with money. So yeah, all that shit changed me for the worst. It really, really did. And I don't like doing it at all. Not to this day. Now I like joking with you guys about, fill the king's coffers with coin. That's joke. It's funny. It's a positive, silly spin on it, right? We all know what it is. It's just a joke. But back then it was like super e-begging. I hated it.
The goal was to raise around $5,000 through tips. And as Phil mentioned, the tips he received, which is the money he made through PayPal and not subscriptions or other Twitch integrated services, would be used towards taxes.
More than likely, probably now, at this point, I've probably raised like around $900 to $950, because every dollar tip I only get 67 cents out of. I probably got, no lie, like $500 tips today, and all those only like 60%. So, but it is what it is. Thank you guys.
This was not very close to his $5,000 goal. So Phil did a second marathon in April where he made a bit more money as seen through the bar at the top. Again, stating where all the money would go to.
I said, so people have been asking me questions like, so what's going to happen now? It's very simple. With all the money that I've raised for these taxes, I'm going to go to my tax guy and say, this is what I have.
There was some natural skepticism and some paranoia.
By the way, I know where Joon's going with this because he actually asked me directly about this. So I'm about to get felted, everyone.
The newest theory came from the blindsiding reveal that Phil had gotten married to Kat and used the funds earned from the tax marathon streams to finance some of the wedding.
That's completely false. Again, everything's going to be explained. Everything I've told you guys up front about that stuff is true. Everything, every dollar that was raised to help with taxes is going towards the taxes. Dun, dun, dun. Correct? I said every single dollar that we raised during that marathon has gone to taxes.
Now Phil is reasserting that all the money went to taxes. But later in the day, he states that was not the case.
Yep, and I did. I did 2 different marathon events, all right, that raised, in total, if you actually look at the amount of tips that I raised that can go towards these taxes, was around, I think, I want to say just under $2,500. But also what people need to understand, which they don't, is that normally I raise tips, and normally tips go to paying bills. So even though I raised $2,500, a chunk of that had to just go to pay my monthly stuff normally. And so, oops. So if I kept my mouth shut and just said, thanks for all the contributions, it would have been done. But the moment that I opened my mouth and I said, well, every single dollar that was raised went to taxes, that was a lie. Because in truth, I still got to pay bills. I still got to buy groceries. I still got to do my usual shit, right? When I did that marathon, that would have been a day I normally would have worked and raised some money to do those things. So in reality, I'm fessing up later in the day. Well, the truth is not all the tip money went, or not all the money raised went to tips. Immediately, you got caught. You know what I'm saying? Even though I raised $2,500, in reality, it was probably under $2,000 that I had left over afterwards to put towards the federal taxes.
Phil had lied throughout his marathon streams and the streams afterwards by now stating that over $500 or so went towards his bills and other expenses.
And that's right. And it's all my fault. I misspoke. And it's totally 100% on me for misspeaking like I did. I should have been more upfront. I should have been more transparent. And I wasn't.
This contradiction seemed too great, so I asked Phil about it. Phil responded with a superbly long-winded response. His answer is buried in this line. 2 words in his 357-word response. Quote, I misspoke. Unquote. Meaning that he misspoke about all the money going to taxes.
Correct.
What I failed to mention was this was not the only piece of evidence I had reconfirming that all the money from his fundraising would go to taxes.
But again, as I've already said, I can assure all of you that there was no deception whatsoever on my part outside of the fact that the wedding existed. All funds that I raised for taxes and the like are going towards taxes. In the back of my head, like everyone knows that I still have to pay for my car this month. You know, I probably have to put gas in my car this month. Or this week or whatever. I probably have to pay my mortgage this month. I have to, you know what I'm saying? But the problem is I didn't say that. When I outright say every dollar of the fundraiser is going to taxes and then it doesn't, that's on me. Red-handed. Not a dollar. Not a single dollar that was supposed to be raised for taxes went towards anything during this wedding or anything. Nothing.
The clear answer is Phil lied.
Because, oh, and by the way, because remember how the situation started? Everyone said that all the money raised for the taxes was going towards me going to Connecticut to get married. Not a single dollar raised during that event went to the wedding. All of that was paid for by my parents, 100%. So the lie that I'm telling is, oh, every dollar went to taxes, but actually it went to pay for some regular stuff too. The lie the detractors are telling is, well, he spent all the tax money on the trip to get married.
The money raised is unaccountable. What few people knew at the time was Phil had a 10-year plan. In a conversation with his mother, who had bailed him out previously and delayed a potential bankruptcy, Phil was presented with 2 decisions: file for bankruptcy or develop a 10-year plan. This 10-year plan was meant to phase him out of content creation into a more traditional job.
Okay, so, okay.
It was even clear to his family at this point that his online presence was only causing trouble for him and those surrounding him. Even now, there was an uproar of displeasure where a few mods were rebelling and leaking private chats and other items surrounding Phil due to his recent lies about where the marathon money was going. Phil did not understand the depth.
But they believed that the marathon money went to my wedding, which it didn't. They
goodwill either. On May 9, 2019, Phil tweeted, quote, took a day off the entire internet, but hashtag #ProJaredHilarity was at the top of everyone's Twitter feed. Haha, whoops. Unquote. Now that Pro Jared was going through his own controversy sparked from his lewd Tumblr and confusing open relationship, Phil jumped in on the anti-Pro Jared bandwagon.
But the only reason I did is because, look at the tweet below. He had crapped on me many, many years earlier, and I literally never clapped back. I just sat there and I bided my time. And then when his moment came, oops, maybe he shouldn't have said anything, because if he hadn't, I wouldn't have ever said a word. But it's his own fault.
After this resoundingly successful tweet, Phil went on a stream chat and simultaneously downplayed and exaggerated the success of the tweet. By the 11th, Phil was so confident that this tweet was bringing him the goodwill of the internet that he made this.
I don't believe that at all. Let's see what he says. The reason I'm doing this is because in the past couple of days, the internet at large has finally kind of turned an eye to me for the first time in a major way in a long time. In an actual positive light. I do remember this.
This video is titled DSP Tries It, Debunking 7 Years of Slander.
And it didn't work because no one cared. Seriously, no one gave a shit about this video.
In a nearly 2-hour video, Phil took a cursory glance at some of his controversial moments, like the time he said Minecraft was stupid, dating Panda Lee while she was 18, or explaining the escort drama that had long been proven false. Lacking here was everything else, from his financial woes, his treatment of his audience, his lashing out at other creators through minimizing their achievements or insulting them altogether. Phil's video was completely lackluster. Even a successful video dispelling his controversies will not change the fact that the reason people watch Phil is to laugh at his antics.
Absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
His Saucy Mondays, streams where he goes off camera to stir a pot of Italian sauce, has no inherent value to regular people. But his lies, on the other hand, tend to be captivating.
Marky Mark says, what is my favorite drink? I like White Russians. Oh, I never had a White Russian before. Never had a White Russian.
What drew viewers' attention...
No! Whoa. That's taken completely out of context. Marky Mark says, what's your favorite drink? I like White Russians. And then I answered. I didn't answer, I like White Russians. That's actually bad. Joon, that one you actually fucked up. That's bad. 22707? That's completely out of context. That's the person tipping said they like White Russians. Then I answered what I liked. So that's awful. That's actually a really bad one. Sorry, that's... I got you once so far in the documentary, so there you go. You know I had to get him once. I mean, that's blatant getting it wrong.
Now was a reveal stream with a $1,000 goal. Phil promised a big, positive reveal. Users guessed all throughout, none of them hit the mark.
That's what I said. I just said a big positive reveal. That's all I said. I said it's a big positive reveal that could possibly help out and influence future streams. That's exactly what I said.
Some even thought that the reveal was a new cat, which Phil denied. Finally, the goal was hit, and the positive reveal came.
Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our pet.
Phil's reveal was his cat Jasper, but users already guessed the reveal was a new cat. Phil's reasoning was they did not guess correctly enough.
So a lot of people, you're right, a lot of people did guess that a cat was the thing. A lot of people say, oh, it's a new cat, it's a new cat. It's not. Jasper actually has been our cat for a while. Wow.
On top of this, Phil got another $1,000 donation from a single donor through the miscommunication of there being a second positive reveal. The easiest way to find out how controversial a stream was to find out how many bans occurred that day. And according to this user-made graph, the day Jasper was revealed, there were 451 bans on his stream.
How the fuck would you know that? That's insanely wrong. There's no way. You really think that moderators are sitting here banning people 451 times in a day? The only way that could be true is if someone was spamming the chat with bots, like coming in with a bunch of bots, and then we had to take care of it because no one else could talk. That's it. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's absolutely no fucking way. 451 people, unless it was bots. That's the only way I could see that's correct. On a normal day, look, no, hold on a second. Now this is really bullshit. Take a look. I have a cursor. Oh, cool. I could use this. You're telling me that they're saying every single day that I streamed, we banned 100 people? No, this is absolutely not correct at all. I don't care. He's using some fucking detractor graph, and there's no way to verify this information. There's absolutely no fucking way we were banning 100 people a day from the chat. That's nuts. That's incredible conspiracy horseshit. Sorry, Joon, on this one, dude. You read a detractor graph and you believed it? There is no fucking way that this is true. I don't buy this graph for a fucking second. That is nonsense, dude.
But this graph relates to Phil's stream only. On September 29, 2019, Phil was seen not on his own channel, but on the Quarterings, a creator who is controversial in his own right, but utilizes it to make a living. This is something long anticipated because Phil sits in the relative safety of his own streams and controls the dialogue. Adding a different prominent creator would mean there would be no place to hide, and some have tried to secure an interview with Phil. But Phil is very careful.
Actually, that's not true at all. No big prominent creators were trying to secure an interview with me. Only my trolls were. Like, my detractors wanted me to co-talk to them.
He only allows those ignorant of his rich history to reach him. And even then, there can be stipulations in place to block some of the most demanding questions. Like, how much does Phil owe? Where do the thousands of dollars in donations end up? Does he believe himself to be financially responsible? And instead of that, viewers got this.
This is the most popular question.
Okay.
You're right. Where did the load go?
Normally, a like to dislike ratio is the most basic way to see how much viewers agree with any which video. But this time, there is something better. The quartering softball interview got 90,000 views. These can represent interest in particularly how many care to view it, how many align with the interview. With that in mind, It's Gundam, a channel that is hardly DSP-centric, covered the interview and broke down how Phil misrepresents himself while going into some of the deeper Phil lore. It's Gundam's video blew the quartering's interview out of the water, as not only was it twice as long as expected from an analysis, but it also stands with 1.6 million views.
Because it's drama. Because it's toxic, negative drama.
A user that went by Nigel of UKIP. For what would be the next couple of years, this individual will freely dox those in Phil's vortex. It's hard to say how he was doing it. He could have had insider information and somehow used the donor's PayPal information to craft a dox, or simply just searched for usernames across social media websites until he found commonalities, ultimately leading to the dox of those within the Phil sphere.
He was an incredible no-life loser who literally had nothing to do all day. No responsibilities in life, so he could just sit there all day searching the internet. It's that simple.
The only other...
Because the thing I know, because a lot of people who were afraid of being doxxed by him, I was like, the only way he can get your information is if you have shit public. And the people who I told that were never doxxed by him because they went and had nothing public and they were fine. It's only people who had a Facebook that was public, a Twitter that was public, another thing, and you have all your information, your real life information there, and that's how they would get doxxed. He literally never got behind the scenes information on anyone. He just had the incredible amount of time to scour the whole internet for everyone's public information.
Other strange instance of doxing was from a difficult to cover story as the relevant threads where this mass dox was held were expunged. And of course, the Wayback Machine excludes Kiwi Farms. All that is left are recollections and videos that serve of evidence of its existence. Quote, here's a pretty good recap of the entire docu-show. But since the thread itself has apparently been nuked, I'll just add some context and missing details for anyone who wasn't around back then. It was known as the January Harvest of 2018.
I had no idea it was some big event. I just knew that all this shit was going on at one point.
Started because BSV got into a tangle with the nasty on here. Apparently got stupid ugly, families threatened, etc. The KF Dog Sluts issued an ultimatum to DSP. Admit publicly to your Tardians that your main paywall, BSV, has been saying doing some stupid shit. Which, yes, at the time, are aware going to drop a super dox at a rate of 1 per day on your The King of Hate forum dwelling redacted.
Oh yeah, so I guess he was a supporter of mine, a Brightside Viking or something, I think his name was, and he actually became a moderator. They literally said, you better, like it was extortion. So you better say all this stuff about what this guy says and does in private. If you don't, we're going to dox one person a day. You can go fuck yourself. And then they went and did whatever they did. And I literally paid no attention to it at all. I didn't care. I didn't want anything to do with it. Go do it. If you want to commit crimes, if you want to fuck around, go for it. But I'm going to have nothing to do with it. I'm not going to respond to extortion and blackmail. Fuck off.
This will begin on X date and continue until you have done this one simple and justified and true thing. Basically just disavow BSV's behavior. Lol, unironic Freedom Forum members and Kiwis with trolling accounts over there alike and become tremble with fear. No one is safe, lol. Philip Piss.
Listen to how this guy types. Could you just type in English instead of your little fucking troll speak? It makes you look like a fucking antisocial loser. Oh, excuse me, it doesn't make you look like that. You are one. That's why you're typing.
Baby
like that.
fuck you Burnell responds by shoving his head in the quicksand. Turbo doxing commences. After like 3 days of this Waco standoff, his terrified forum users go from screaming at Phil to do something to stop this and to a 5-alarm dumpster fire. Standoff continues until Phil's revenue begins tanking a bit. He's now forced to address this matter on air.
Yeah, I said it was happening and I said, fuck you, I'm not doing anything about it.
Nothing. Says nothing he was told to admit. Advises his audience that anything the bad doxing men have done to them is their fault. Not his because they're stupid and they use his forum.
No, I said, if you are using public social media and you're putting your information out there publicly, people are going to find it and hurt you. You have to be incredibly careful. I didn't say, because you're on my forum, it's your fault that you're getting doxxed. That's not true. But of course, this moron spins it like that.
Lol fair. And have personal shit in their online profiles that anyone can see.
You can't put personal shit in your online profile that anyone can see. People will use that against you. You have to have an online persona that's detached from your real life person. It's that simple. The internet ain't a safe place anymore. It's really not.
Which would have been his one valid argument in all this if it hadn't been tendered in his signature blame-shifting desperation.
No, this is your spin on it because you're a fucking loser. you're a fucking antisocial loser and you hate me, so you say that. No, I didn't put it and spin it with anything else. That's exactly what I said. Don't put your private information to the public, because they will use it to hurt you.
And also contradiction by some other horseshit he said 30 seconds later. The victims of these cyberbullies shoulder all the blame in this, and everyone is stupid because you should just know that any internet presence...
Yes, of course, that's exactly word for word how I put it. Sure.
Puts you at risk of, well, everything. NMF and ICD. Doc's harvest continues. Despite having zero leverage, Fatboy gives the infamous 19-hour olive branch speech as a counteroffer to everyone who doesn't dick ride him on the internet. Peaceful coexistence? Okay. No more talking shit from either side? Sound good?
That's right. What I said was, listen, we just won't talk shit about each other anymore. You ignore me, I ignore you. You know, of course, that's not what they wanted.
9 seconds later, he resumes talking shit about detractors. No negotiating with terrorists, though. Harvest continues. Harvest got tedious as it quickly became obvious that most of the people that orbit him are boring turbospats.
Wrong. The harvest got tedious because everyone listened to me and ignored it. Because the best way to defeat a troll is to ignore their existence. Once you ignore them and they're getting no attention for what they're doing, they realize no one cares about them and it's just a waste of their time, and then they move on. That's exactly what happened. My strategy worked. Ignore the nonsense, ignore the morons, and they will disappear on their own. And that's exactly what happened.
Minor wheelchair exodus. Harvest ends. Phil advises the internet that this constitutes a hard W for him.
Because it was. Because it was.
Oh, to see the world through the blurry Jane goggles.
No, there's no goggles. I won. I didn't negotiate with someone who was trying to extort me. They went away. I won, you lose. It's simple math.
A Bankruptcy, which had its own honorary sign displayed at a WWE pay-per-view event, which is also attached to the theory around a mobile game known as WWE Champions. The Bankruptcy is far more forward and clear, and has been a long time coming, with Phil discussing his want to file for bankruptcy through 2019. Yep. Only now, in January 2020, was the process underway.
Well, basically, eventually... Okay, let me see. Because these are the two segments. This one is... I sat down and I saw a lawyer and talked to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, you know, with your situation, you know, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. Like, there's no way. How are you going to get out of not only owing all this debt that you have behind the scenes through credit cards and loans, but now you've got a whole... Thank you, Hot Stuff Chris, for the sub. Oh, wait, that was from, like, 2010 or 2020. That was from Twitch. Sorry about that. Home that you can't pay for, and they're going to foreclose on you. Chances are they're going to sue you.
The bankruptcy forms made it into the hands of the detractors. In these dense, lengthy legal forms were revelations that finally, among many other things, put a number on Phil's total debt.
Now, here's the thing. Like he says, they made it to the hands of the detractors. Yeah, because bankruptcies are public filings. There's no way to hide it. Anyone that declares bankruptcy, it's a public filing, and everyone's going to see the information, and I knew that.
$13,800 to a different Citibank credit card. Number 9, $15,600 to Citibank. Number 10, $10,000 to a Discover credit card. Number 11, $9,300 to Lenny Club Corporation. Number 12, $4,300 to Prosper Marketplace. Number 13, $3,800 to Sam's. And finally, number 14, $4,700 to US Bank.
I don't even remember the last one. I actually don't even remember that last one. I don't even know what card that was.
This means he was paying the minimum. Or if he really wanted to, he could have paid the entire thing off and lived there within just a few years of purchasing it. Instead, he is now here, 11 years later, owing the IRS $15,000, having virtually no credit, being stripped of what little he accrued, and being returned back to nothing.
I had absolutely zero, a complete negative, zero value. Even with me owning this place here, I, still, owed the mortgage and everything. I had zero value in anything. I had nothing to my name whatsoever.
Was it worth enduring a decade of trolls, daily streams, managing lies, and being hated in the only community you know? The answer is yes, because Phil has something almost no one else has.
Look at this. He made a ring and everything. All right, now this is cool. He made an animated ring for this. This is neat. It's WWE Champions time, brother. Oh my God. Yeah. Come on. Drop the leg. Yeah. Come on. That's amazing. that he put that in there like
Phil's
that.
plights were all worth it because of this Candy Crush, gotcha-designed phone game themed around the WWE, known as WWE Champions. It is important to note that Phil has refuted investing into this game to the extent people have claimed. Despite a mountain of very strong evidence, he has room to dismiss it because there is no smoking gun. Phil has a history of playing other mobile games themed around the WWE, and was not shy to spend money on microtransactions to get an advantage. However, on WWE Champions, there is an account that has seen some tremendous climbing in the leaderboards that would be impossible without microtransactions. This account's name was They Call Me DSP. Phil's Twitter handle is also They Call Me DSP.
Okay, so...
A viewer then informs Phil that his number is tied to the Line-App account, to where Phil changes his tune.
Video bit big boy, you have to enter a code from an SMS message when you download the app. The troll has access to your text messaging. I'd contact the authorities if I were you. Oh my god. Oh! I'm just, seriously, like there's no way to dupe one of these app companies into thinking that you are using a phone number that you're not, right? Or there's no possible way that in the 6 years since my cell phone's been doxxed that I changed my number, right? No way possible that I would have possibly done that, right?
Phil claims two things. Firstly, that it may be possible to fool a company through a spoof number, which it is not. The second is Phil introducing the potential that he changed his number during this time, which was countered by someone calling Phil's number and getting this.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. Phil Burnell.
Not only that, when ranting about John Rambo, he slips up.
I have nothing to make amends for Rambo. I never mistreated the guy. The guy was always told me that he was happy when we were doing work together and everything. He's the one who cut off contact with me and lied to me saying everything was all right, but then stopped talking to me and then made a negative video about me later. He would have to reach out to me. I am the one who still has the same phone number. Felted. I'm the one who, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy who's still easily reachable.
What this proves is Phil has a Line account, and also another item to stack on the massive pile of Phil's lies. But again, Phil could run with the narrative that just because he has a Line account that is also under They Call Me DSP, that doesn't prove that he plays WWE Champions. And so the investigation continues and lands on a different third party, Discord.
So I have sources of him joining and being kicked out of my guild. I have sources of him being in another WWE Champions Discord and me talking to him.
This is significantly more promising than the Line app, because unlike the Line app, They Call Me DSP's Discord is clearly seen interacting with TJ's guild. And while anyone could choose whatever name they please on Discord, all accounts had to have a unique code attached to them. And thanks to a bot archiving the people that left the Discord, that not only shows the name, but also unique Discord ID, which is 4058.
You know, if only I was tech savvy. If only I were tech savvy, maybe I would have got away with it. Alright, let's continue.
At the time, Phil also had a secret mod Discord, and a rogue mod just happened to leak Phil's unique Discord ID, which was also 4058. Though the numbers are clear, what Phil now relies on is trying to state that the evidence itself is illegitimate. Somehow, one way or another, some image is altered, and of course, they never used Discord for those purposes.
The only time I ever used Discord was to chat with people back when I had a partnership with Twitch and stuff like that. I had a contact who I chatted to in Discord. But outside of that, I've never used it for anything else. I don't even know what Line app is. I guess it's just chat. I don't know. Maybe it does do those other things. I have no idea.
At this point, one can reasonably deduce that They Call Me DSP is Phil. Though Phil claims what should be definitive evidence is false, and relies on his minuscule credibility to sway his audience.
You know, if it weren't for those pesky kids...
And so the investigation continues to find something more definitive that Phil cannot excuse as false. This is where the bankruptcy documents come into play. His expenses are most pertinent. On page 32 of his bankruptcy petition, these personal expenses are itemized between him and his wife. His monthly expenses...
Hold on, how long?
To only have $1,500 in business assets. So as the courts would see it, these expenses would have to go into services. It is understood that Phil doesn't pay his mods. On the contrary, his mods pay him. He asks viewers to pay for his games. He doesn't use any services for his business that would charge those thousands of dollars. And so this leaves many to believe this is how Phil hides his WWE Champions transactions, labeling them as business expenses. Which, if Phil can play to the government's ignorance of his content creation job so long as they see it as profitable, then perhaps Phil can also do this on his taxes. And so, what does Phil have in response to these official documents? When I asked him, quote, do you believe it's incorrect/possible that you spent solely that much on your business for those months?
Now keep in mind, I'm going to tell you everything, so...
There was an account that had similar stats.
They call me DSP, so the Gun Show 87, so now Down from the Rafters, which, by the way, you cannot use the name Down from the Rafters in WWE Champions because the name is too big to use. So that means it was changed by a bot. It was changed by Scrollbly.
Down the Raptors was the last name change. As the account stated, this will be the last time they would try to change their name, as it was clear that they could not hide from the trolls that follow them, thinking that they are, quote, some idiot video game streamer that they hate, unquote. By 2020, Phil was adamant that he had quit all mobile games. Not even just recently, but all the way back in 2018.
In 2018, I quit all mobile games. I don't play them anymore. I got rid of them. I said, I'd rather focus time on important stuff with my family and stuff. I don't waste time. They're all, I keep telling you guys this. Mobile games are money sinks. You'll put money into it, you put time into it and money into it, and you don't get anything really out of it unless you're constantly keep playing and sinking more money into it. That's the truth of the matter. Quit all those mobile games because they were just pay to win. You got to the point where they're really fun to play at first, and then you realize you can't actually progress unless you drop money to get all the new cards.
Far more.
I'm not surprised this is like the longest segment or
corrupt when Phil was asked to explain his business expenses.
What do you consider a business expense?
Anything relating, to the business per the instruction of my tax attorney. So it could be, the cost of a video game, the cost of a subscription for a video game, a microtransaction within a video game, the cost of a piece of new equipment, maintenance on set equipment every month. It could be the internet, cost of internet every month. It could be cost of, utilities necessary for the business, cost of cell phone for the business.
Oh my God.
This was dismissed rather easily, likely through the ignorance of the attendees. But if anything, it did prove that Phil knew how his business expenses were calculated, making people more curious about what they could be now that he couldn't dismiss the expenses as being ignorant of them. And then the meeting was turned to the quote-unquote creditors.
Okay, I have no further questions. Are there creditors on the line?
There were no real creditors on the line for the...
Not too long after the meeting ended, with just one more outburst from a troll.
Why am I poisoned? Why am I toxic?
Yeah, his head exploded. His head exploded. That's great.
This meeting, in terms of wanting to expose Phil, was a failure. Phil's bankruptcy case was closed, and he surrendered his Connecticut condo and remained streaming.
Is this the end of the segment? Let's see.
So it did show there was an additional consequence of Phil's long-standing internet presence and infamy. The children that may have watched him in 2010 and grew to hate him over time have aged and become adults who are more proficient in all things, like trolling and archiving. Archiving, like creating...
Oh, so is that it? Or is he going on to the next segment? Oh no, Vestreak is next, so let's keep going. He's not done yet.
Graphs meant to keep track of Phil's expenses. This, compared to future archiving methods, made these appear rudimentary. Even so, the visualization of this data makes it clear-cut that Phil's earnings are on the rise. It was long thought that his channel would fade out, but year after year it's been persistent. This is where a different archiving tool helps. PigPigGo is a website that scours Phil's massive catalog.
Oh, so we're in the Vestreak now? They're going to start talking about what I made during the Vestreak, I think. I think that's what we're at now. I think so. I think that's it. All right.
Catalog of tens of thousands of videos. The way it works is you put in a phrase. This searches Phil's YouTube transcripts and lists them in order by date. You can also search within a specific date and visualize the usage of a word through the trend option. And if we type in vest with a space on both sides...
Okay, vest. All right. He's on to the Vestreak. So now we're done with that. So now it's time for me to respond to the entire thing, okay? And this will be the end of tonight, actually. I think... All right. So, here's the thing. I'm about to tell you the actual truth. You already know I have a history of spending money on mobile games. I've already admitted it. Every time someone asked me about WWE Champions, I lied. Every single fucking time. Because to me, My personal spending, things I was doing off stream, was no one's business. Okay? And every time someone brought it up, I'm like, this is so stupid. This is dumb. You know what I'm saying? And I just lied to get it out of the way. And I tried so hard for so long to lie about it, to get people to just forget about it. But I forgot. Well, not really forgot, but I definitely underestimated the anal nature of these people who stalk me. My fans did not care about me playing WWE Champions. Yes, they call me DSP account in WWE Champions is my account. I didn't think anyone was going to ever give a fuck about my mobile game spending. I had already played games such as Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, Supercard, WWE Supercard, and others as well. And like for me, it was like, who cares? Like, who would ever give a shit? I had already publicly posted and talked about playing those games, spending money on them and shit, right? So what ended up happening was the game came out, 2017? And I barely played it that hardcore. Like the first year or so, I would say. It wasn't until the second year where the game actually got like redesigned to be more serious of a game. And so then it kind of warranted more time, more spending, etc. Well, I played it for what? It came out in 2017. So I would say I played it for like 2.5 years. And I think about year 1 or 2, like a year in, 2 years in, it got, to the point where everyone wanted to form guilds and factions because big events were being based in the game around that. So that's when I joined my first faction. And eventually, after being with this group for a while, I became one of the leaders of the faction. There never was an issue with any of this. Never. And then all of a sudden, somehow, someone had discovered that there was a WWE Champions name of my name. And guess what it is someone who had played the game, knew how the accounts worked or whatever, and they did money, and they said, he spent thousands of dollars on the game, right? Based on some calculation that they had made. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what it is, because I don't watch my detractor. A detractor literally made shit up. They had made a fake Discord conversation between me and the actual guy who had founded this faction I was in. He doxed the guy. Like they put it on Kiwi Farm. All right? And all along, I'm denying to the faction that I'm this streamer. I'm like, no, I'm not that streamer. That's not me. Okay? Well, what ended up happening was, even though I had been in that faction for like 1-2 years, I don't remember the time frame again. I don't have that data. They kicked me from the faction. Because listen, I want to keep playing your game. I've invested time and money into it, but I can't. Everywhere I go, these people are harassing and doxing everywhere I'm involved in. So the company, who owns the game, who makes the game, said, yeah, we can see if we can change your name or whatever. They are so dumb. All right. I explained to them, the timing of everything. Like, here's how you do it. What I will do is I will quit a faction that I'm in. All right. You change my name when I'm out of a faction. Now there's no way to track me because no one knows where I am. Then I could join a new faction. Okay. Great. They idiotically changed my name before the time we had agreed to. So everyone saw the name change. I was still in the faction. People were still tracking the account and they saw the name change. They fucked it up. All right. So at this point now, it's like, there's no way at all that I'm going to be able to play this game because everywhere I go and everything I do, these people are going to be tracking it or whatever. So some of the things that my detractors have said over the years are outright lies. For example, that whole story about the Line app. Okay. That's false. And why would I lie? I never used Line app to play WWE Champions. The Line app account was because I had a potential sponsorship opportunity lined up. And basically, I found out basically when I started to research it, it was a scam. It was like a scam company who was going to fuck me basically somehow. But they wanted to communicate via Line app. On top of that, a lot of the shit that was said about WWE Champions was outright lie. My detractors would go out and be like, Phil spent $2,000, $3,000 in a weekend or whatever on WWE Champions. It's completely wrong. I spent a couple $100s in a weekend on the game. Admit that. They would say I spent $1,200. Where are you getting that information from? That's not how the game works. But they claim it is. But that's not how the game works at all. So they grossly have always over-exaggerated the spending that I've done in the game. I don't have any control or ownership of that account anymore. All right? I sold it. at the times when I was like desperate for money and shit was going down, I sold the account. So the reason I knew you could sell an account was because when I was really, on the original account, before I didn't even change my name, all right, there was another group in the game, and they were called like the Haven, all right? And they were one of the top factions in the game. And one of the leaders of the Haven was retiring from the game after like 2-3 years of playing it. And they announced this publicly, we're retiring or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So basically he retires. He publicly announces he's retiring, yet his account is still active. So basically what I did, I reached out and I found that there was a market for this. There's third-party resellers, and I sold it. All right, that was a few years ago. So I have not had any control over this account for years. That was the single worst thing I could have done. I can't show you, and like, for example, people will show the account. I literally can't, and I haven't been able to for years because it's not my account anymore. I mean, you got morons in the chat, really morons in the chat. Show proof of sale. Do you really think right now I'm going to open up a PayPal account and show you anything? I'm going to open up a bank account and show you anything? You're an idiot. No one would believe it anyway. They just say I photoshopped it, or you know what I mean? I lied about this, I lied about that, right? But I don't have it on that phone. I have it on my current phone. It's my personal account. That's a brand new account. Not brand new because I've been using it for a while. I've had this phone for a while. But you guys didn't know that because I never told you. This is not an iPhone. And if I want to play games and stuff on it, I fucking can. I have an iPad. It didn't work. Last night, I plugged it in and I charged it to 100%. I spent an hour trying to get back on the iPad. I got the iPad working. The iPad is so outdated, it doesn't run WWE Champions. You download the latest compatible version, and when you go to play it, the game just crashes endlessly. And it's not just that, it's every game. Like, I tried to open WWE Supercard, that crashes too. Like, every game fucking crashes. The judge that you heard in that call, they mass messaged that judge to tell her that I was committing bankruptcy fraud because I played WWE Champions. I had so much difficulty to get that bankruptcy go through, all right? Because did you hear what the judge said in that call? She said, I want all the statements, 6 months of statements of all of your PayPals and all of your bank accounts, right? I want to see it all. And we had to go through all of it. All of it. All right? Line by line. We went through every expense. I explained them all away. I had to explain the nature of my job. I had to explain the nature of my business. I had to explain the nature of what WWE Champions was. I had to explain everything. This is not anything that people usually do in a bankruptcy. This was like the nightmare bankruptcy for me because it was so bad because the trolls interjected themselves so bad into it. All right? At the end of the day, right? When it was all said and done, and it took hours of going through this shit, right? The bankruptcy was granted. The judge says, everything you said looks good, makes sense. It's all correct. Bankruptcy granted. Okay? So, if it was good enough for my bankruptcy attorney, if it was good enough for the judge in the case of my bankruptcy, if all the data was right according to them, because we went through all of it, then what is wrong with the data? So there's no issue. You understand? There never was an issue. This is something that's completely blown out of proportion by people who just don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right? I'm sorry. And that's, no, I'm not going to open up fucking financial documentation. I'm not going to open up my bank account. I'm not going to open up apps and fucking ledgers. You're not getting that. All right? If I were to open up all of that documentation, okay, show you line by line all of that shit, my detractors, who we have seen throughout the course of this documentary are insanely obsessed with me, would use it to destroy me. It's too much of a personal risk because it's none of anyone's fucking business. I will not show you evidence because it will put myself at personal risk. You can believe what I just said or not. The truth is, if what I just said was untrue, why would I have admitted to it? Do I still play WWE Champions? Yes, I do. on my actual personal account, on my current phone, I play WWE Champions. You will never see that account because it is mine. And if I showed it, the detractors would nonstop try to get information about me and my new account on. And I'm not going to fuck around like that at all. You're never going to see that account ever. All right? You will see me once in a while, possibly playing WWE Champions on stream with the new account that I made, just to play through my new PC and hang out with everyone on streams to do that. Okay? To this day, daily the detractors are tracking this account that apparently has been fine. You know, I couldn't find a place where I could go where my detractors wouldn't dox people. And apparently the account's still active because you see Duty making fucking videos about it. DSP spent $2,448 today. No, I did not. You idiot. You incredible moron. Maybe that person did, right? Maybe that person actually did who bought the account or from this third party. Because remember, like I said, I sold it to this place that they basically reassign accounts to buyers or whatever. I didn't sell it directly to a person, okay? So maybe that person found an account, and I don't know. I literally have nothing to do with it, nor do I care. All right? I'm done talking about it. You want to talk about us playing the game on stream? We can do that. That's fine. You want to talk about general knowledge of the game? Sure, I'll do that. I'm not talking about the past anymore. I'm done with it. So all these idiots, look, because you see how many detractors there are in the chat right now, and they're all just, you know, they're all fucking gray names. Oh, you're lying. I don't care about you. No, I don't care about you. I will, right? And again, if there's no reason for me to not verify what I'm saying, I can't show you because I don't own the account. If I had it, I would show it to you right now. It's me. There'd be no point to not showing you it. Because I'm already telling you, yes, I spent a lot of money on the game in the past. Years, those first 3-4 years? I don't even remember, again, the time frame. But basically, I quit because I gave up. I was like, I can't play it anymore. These people are fucking stalking me endlessly. Right? SFM9 did a super chat. Why tell us now and not on side scrollers? Because if I told side scrollers, number one, I didn't trust them. Number two, I didn't have the account to show them. Do you understand? I didn't just sell it yesterday. I didn't even have it last year. Crunchiest Onion did a super chat. He says, you never answered the burning question. How many Hogans did you own? How many Hogans did you own on your new account? On the original account, I pulled the original Hogan, which was Powerhouse Hogan. I had him, and he was one of the rarest cards when I got it. That was when I was still with the very first faction, and I was a faction leader and all of that.
Go is a website that scours Phil's massive catalog of tens of thousands of videos.
So Pig Go, just think about how insane and unhinged this is. These are people who hate me who are making this. Someone made a search engine to apparently search all of the videos, see keyword and video title for phrases that I've said. All right, let's see where this is going. This is insane to me. I don't know about you. It's pretty insane to me. So let's see where this is going.
The way it works is you put in a phrase. This searches Phil's YouTube transcripts and lists them in order by date. You can also search within a specific date and visualize the usage of a word through the trend option.
So YouTube transcripts, would that be the AI transcript that YouTube auto-generates on each video? This was wild. I'm sorry, guys. I just couldn't find the I couldn't find the vest. I don't know where it was. 3 Phils. Phil watching Phil in triple Philception. It was right there in the closet.
The vest is an item that Phil wore in the past and was being noticed.
I should make my camera a little bigger, considering this is not gameplay, this is a react. So I'll go a little, there we go, just a little big. Okay, cool.
During a retrospective stream, what he perceived to be a funny moment was turning out to be something bigger. It was sticking with viewers and they wanted more of it.
What? Evil Williams says, I think the black DSP merch t-shirt really contrasts the vest. It brings out the positive side of Phil. Phil be dabbing at detractors with this new fresh streaming look. To be honest, once again, I still don't really understand this at all. Why the vest was so popular, why people wanted it to continue, why people kept contributing. Let's get a vest going. Here we go. Every day, I will do something different. One day I'll wear sunglasses. One day I'll wear a vest. Yeah, like it matters. It doesn't matter. Anyway. So we have the tips goal, I'll wear the vest. If we raise $200, I'll wear the vest and the cowboy hat. If we raise see, at this point, you notice there's no vest count yet. Yes, I will tell you guys, I will put on the vest if we hit the tips goal for tonight. There you go. It seems to be a new running thing that people want me to put on the vest. So, yes. Was that what was that? Morrowind? Someone joked and said, "Would I put on the vest for a certain tip?" And I said, "If we hit the tips goal tonight, I'll put on the vest." And then we hit the tips goal, so I put on the vest just to be silly. But it's not going to be something that happens every day.
If only Phil knew how wrong he was.
Yep. Thank you very much. No, I didn't know. Have just pushed us over. That gives us to. There it is. Vest streak of 12, and it's going to continue. It's so insane how nuts this is. $106 in tips. We have reached vest streak number 13. We're on an unprecedented 16 vest streak. We're on a 20 vest streak. Now we're up to 63. We're currently at vest streak 96. So I mean, this is insane, right? I can't go late. I wasn't kidding. Like, I'm done. The game is over, and it looks like the vest streak's over. So I don't know why people were holding tips or whatever tonight.
On September 8th, Phil had made just $13. Yep. While viewers had
Paper Mario, I guess no one liked the game. I thought it was a good game, but whatever.
pulled through a few times to rescue the vest streak, the difference in donations was too great and unrealistic for anyone to save it this time.
But yeah, like, I was hoping to keep the vest streak going so that I could actually afford both new consoles and everything, and now it's over. So, wait, what?
While Phil prolonged,
I couldn't hear what I said, so I could afford consoles? What was wrong with the audio right there? Was that some dumb restreamer doing it and fucking the audio up? How dumb was that? I couldn't even hear it. Blah, 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 right?
on to stream a few more minutes. And
both new consoles, because we were talking about both the PlayStation 5 and buying the Xbox Series X. Gotcha. Okay, thank you for clarifying. I didn't remember what I was saying at all. Okay.
No donators swooped in.
You could hear it fine. It sounded way echo coming through my TV. It really did.
Detractors paid a mix of internet figures and wrestlers to make cameos.
All right, darksydephil. It's Kevin Nash.
For the record, I've never seen any of these, so this will be fun. I've never seen any of these before.
And I've fucking read some disturbing things in my life, but Jesus Christ, I mean, you spent $40,000 on a WWE Championship mobile game, went into bankruptcy for half a mil. You play video games all day long while your wife works her ass off. You masturbated on YouTube, live stream. They wanted to prosecute.
This is all completely in proper context. I love it.
You, but they said your penis was so small they couldn't actually make it out, so they couldn't tell whether you were masturbating or playing with a fucking skin tag.
Dude, you hear him? He's drunk. He's drunk doing this.
This is somebody who needs some fucking serious fucking help.
Darksydephil, what the fuck is your problem, dude?
Is this Blue Meanie? I'm just curious. Is that Blue Meanie or somebody else?
The fuck do you have such a great business degree, dude, and you're a fucking $500,000 in debt? What a fucking idiot! Valedictorian of what? Fucking Muppet fucking thing.
Someone said that's Sandman? Is that Sandman? Dude, that's Sandman. That looks nothing like Sandman anymore. Is that Sandman? Holy shit. Or is it Blue Meanie? I can't tell.
Peter, you moron.
Darksydephil doesn't understand.
What? This guy? I can see wrestlers. You paid Jonathan Coachman to do one of these videos?
And
I want to talk about a waste of time and money.
Depths to which he has sunk. So first and foremost, spending 40 grand on WWE Champions mobile game? At least gamble it away. But on the mobile game, embarrassing. And the fact that because you sit around the house and you allow your wife to...
Listen to him to ham it up so hard. He's hamming it up so hard for this, too. Because he doesn't understand. He thinks this is an inside joke and, you know, this guy Darksydephil will really like the video. I've never seen it. I'm only seeing it right now because these idiots made it for themselves to circle jerk each other off. They knew I was never going to see it. Why would I watch it, right?
Work while you're playing video games and you're going 500 grand, 500 large in debt? Embarrassing.
It is important to remember that...
You know, it was exactly the same as what Nash said. So basically, they gave the same script to all these guys and paid them like hundreds of bucks to do it, too.
Both his detractors and fans would be willing to spend money on either side. His fans, in particular, could be considered the most generous on Twitch.
I would say about
What's funny about that though is, no, the truth is that it's not all of my fans. It's like there was a few big donators. Like, thank you.
$800.
That was ex-viewer PWDubs estimating how much he donated to Phil. But why would he donate so much?
I never like get tipped to help him out. The reason I tipped really was just to try to get a reaction out of him.
With PWDubs continually attempting to get a rise out of Phil, bans were common. But because he was donating, so were unbans.
Over time,
I don't even remember that. I banned him a lot. I don't remember that. A lot of people, he was one of the people who was contributing, and my detractors went after him. Remember? Like, my detractors were attacking him and trying to dox him and shit. I don't ever remember having an issue where I had to keep banning him. Maybe at the end. I actually don't remember. If you want to know the truth, I actually don't remember. So let's see. Maybe Joon has the info, because I don't. I really don't remember.
I would say things that sometimes get me banned, but eventually I just send an email and I'll get unbanned.
Yeah, like everybody else. Okay.
With most donators with the intent to troll Phil, Phil does eventually become exhausted with their excuses. This back and forth through email got to the point that PWDubs was arguing that he lived in Texas. Phil kept refuting that he did.
Oh, is that who this is?
So unprompted, PWDubs does this.
I was trying to do like a gotcha moment, like when I sent him the email saying I do live in Texas, like there's proof that I live in Texas.
PWDubs sent Phil an image of his driver's license, where he self-centered certain sections himself with scribbles of black lines through MS Paint. Censored was his face, the expiry date, street address, and license ID. What Phil then did was post this email to his secret moderator Discord.
Secret moderator Discord? It's literally just a Discord where my moderators talk. It's not a secret Discord. All right, how silly.
That included about 11 other members, remarking, quote, "I mean Jesus. Why are we even at this point? I don't want to card my fucking stream chatters," unquote. The few moderators that responded shared in this confusing sentiment. But Phil posting this license, even though it was somewhat censored through PWDubs, meant that he had doxed him.
Wrong. I didn't dox him at all. He censored all the information people didn't know. We already knew his name. We already knew his date of birth. He'd already told everyone his birthday, and we knew where he lived. He already had put that information out there on the internet. We already all knew that from his discussions and things in my chat. He sent me the censored license so the information nobody knew would not be put out. You see?
Phil had revealed his private information, though it was only to a small, uninterested group. With this information, a rat, well, more so a mouse, took note of Phil's transgression.
Yes, and by the way, for the record, this was all a setup. This was done. PWDubs was egged on by Anonymous and detractors to do this.
This came to a head mid-March.
Like the Anonymous, they had the power in like Twitch chats, like change the title of his stream. So they like changed the title of when Phil was streaming. He changed the title to Darksydephil leaks. Darksydephil docs PWDubs. He made that the title.
Following this, and Anonymous's departure, Phil had to defend his doxing of PWDubs and his secret Discord.
So his question specifically is, why didn't you ever mention that you had a Discord? We asked you before if you used Discord and you said no. Because it's my moderator Discord. It's none of anyone's business.
And when Baby Anonymous's alternative fur baby fetish Twitter was noticed, that's all they got. The contents of this Twitter are highly disturbing and for that reason cannot and should not be shown.
Wow.
Diaper photos. That was a crazy situation they had. It's like so much stuff in this vortex. It's crazy. It's like so many.
With Anonymous's image irrevocably defiled through his own means, he dropped off from the community entirely. As for what happened to Phil, practically nothing. This behavior was already expected from him. Besides, surprises don't come from...
This is hilarious. This behavior was expected from him. You mean the behavior where someone tried to set me up to make it look like I did something far worse than what actually happened, and I reacted very rationally to it and said, this is stupid, it's not a big deal? Yeah, you're right. That's why nothing happened. You're absolutely correct. Because nothing happened. It's fucking stupid. This is only news to people who have the tiniest of fucking IQs and think that this is fucking important shit.
Phil, they come from everything else.
Oh, look at that. There's some kind of a glitch. Only Iced Coffee just realized there's a glitch on Twitch. It wasn't a glitch. I remember what this was, but we're going to see it in a second.
No one knew it at the time, but Phil's suspension from his Twitch partnership was, according to Phil, because of the massive influx of reports of him using harmful language. Following this was the greatest weapon ever developed against darksydephil. Rated by user Piece of Peace, the DSP tips tracker spreadsheet is equipped with table after table analyzing Phil's daily earnings from his AM and PM streams.
Oh, is that it? He's already moving on from that? What my detractors decided to do was put together a compilation reel package of some of the things that you could say that I said and did back in the past that were very risque and considered bad, right? I mean, we saw one of them where I got kicked off of Blip TV for that Dead Space 2 joke, correct? Let you know how messed up these things have been for me over the years because of my detractors.
This included what game he played, who was the top tipper, how much did he make on average, how did this compare to the average. It also included analysis on his Patreon, YouTube, and Twitch. Phil's excuses, poor spending habits, and as it were, e-begging would be challenged with evidence like never before.
Except none of this means anything, because when someone tips me, it doesn't mean that I get it. Just because I got a tip now doesn't mean it doesn't get charged back, doesn't mean that there's not a transaction fee or a currency conversion fee. All of that exists, right?
And as such became immediately useful.
I'll be playing Mass Effect 1 Remastered in a marathon setting, and my goal that day is to raise funds via tips or patron pledges to pay the bills that I need to pay this month, because I am not going to be getting any payment for my Twitch partnership because they canceled it.
Phil, on May 6, nearly 2 weeks after being departnered, set on raising money to pay his bills now in fear that he won't be receiving his Twitch partnership money pre the departnering.
Yeah, because I didn't know what was going to happen. Continue.
But if we look at the spreadsheet, between the 22nd of April, which is when he was departnered, and May 6, when he made the announcement, he already made $5,797 solely from tips.
And again, that's bullshit, because that doesn't factor in people charging back, that doesn't factor in the fees associated with PayPal, currency conversions, and the fact that tips usually are spoken for. I'm trying to make it so I hit every tips goal this week to help me coming up with my mortgage, because I don't even know what's going to happen with Twitch. I don't know if they're going to pay me or not for all the work that I did last month after being losing my partnership. I'm looking to hit the tips goal every stream now between now and when I have to pay my mortgage in the middle of the month. You don't believe that I cook? My wife cooks. I very rarely cook. My wife cooks. There you go. I have no other income apparently, because it sounds like Twitch isn't going to pay me for last month. I'm going to pay my bills, pay my mortgage and everything, because I'm not going to get that payment I depend on every month. You know, fundraising to pay my mortgage, to pay my back taxes, and the stuff for the rest of the month. As for the mortgage, yes, I hope that things go well and I can pay my mortgage on Saturday. Please support this marathon stream. I need the help. In particular, I need it for tomorrow. Pay my mortgage. So if you can, this is so fucking embarrassing, because I'm looking at it right now. It's hurting me, man. Do you think I wanted to act like that? Do you think I wanted to do that? If they didn't fuck with my partnership, I never would have had to do this stuff. So he had to e-beg like a loser to make up for it. But did I cause that? No, I didn't. My detractors did. But I look at this and I hate it. I don't like that I had to do this. This is pathetic. This is sad. This sounds like shit that I have to do this dumb shit. I hate this, man.
That was Phil, throughout his marathon stream, petitioning his audience for even more money to cover his bills and mortgage. Which, without the added pressure of the debts he used to have, means that he already had enough at this point with the over $5,000 he raised.
Wrong. See? He's assuming my bills. He doesn't know what my bills are. Does he know how much I pay in back taxes every month on my payment plan that I'm required to do by law because I owed them so much money because I didn't pay the IRS properly when I was going through the bankruptcy and everything? No. Does he know how much I owe attorneys? No. Does he know anything? No. He's just looking at, well, a mortgage and a car or whatever and some food. That's $5,000 is enough. No. No. This is all false. This is all big false assumptions. Okay? Made just on guessing, and it's not correct.
By the 14th of May, he made another $5,000. The total between April 22nd and May 14th was $10,252. And
again, that's gross from what you saw come in on stream. That's not constituting fees. That's not constituting, when there's currency conversions and you lose some money on that. That's not constituting chargebacks, which happened all the time.
Detractors were making memes, especially as Phil's unappreciative nature became ever more grating to them.
Tips were really slow after pre-stream. No, tips were good until the break. Since I came back from break, there's been 0 contributions. 0. Yeah, because I guess people don't allow a streamer to take a break, because I have to, shit and piss and maybe get out of this chair for 20 minutes so that I don't get blood clots, but not. This is just me being a grumpy curmudgeon. If you take a look, I've already hit my goals. Look, I already hit my goals for this stream. I'm not upset about this. But, you know, that's what I mean. People will take it out of context, or they'll just assume because everything's about money that it's about money, right? Yeah, there was no contributions after I came back from break, but at the same time, I probably had lost more than half of my stream attendance as well, which is really what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, whatever. Let's continue. Not acceptable, apparently, in modern day. You need to take a break. Fuck it.
Reactions in chat differ from Phil's whining. Some feel guilty for not hitting the tips goal of $150, while others remark that $136 is already a sizable amount. What stayed true was Phil was growing ever more frustrated during this time.
All right, well, we're gonna end it here. It's platinum vest. I'll put the vest on. Fine. I'll sweat. I'll sweat disgustingly. Since I'm about to sweat disgustingly on the stream because I'm wearing the vest. All right. It would be nice. It would be nice if we could hit the tips goal today. Yeah, because here's the thing. All right. Obviously, this is me hamming it up, correct? But there was no one screaming at me but my detractors to put the shit on because they thought it was like a clown show. Like, haha, look at this. If he's going to get some contributions, let's make him toss a whole bunch of shit on. We know it's the dead of summer and it's 95 degrees outside for him, but let's have him put on the fucking platinum vest and sweat tonight in the middle of the summer, right? This is phrased the way me saying it definitely makes me look like an asshole, all right? Just saying. We got about 45 minutes left on today's stream. It would be very nice since I'm about to sweat profusely for 45 minutes if we could hit the tips goal. I would really appreciate that, all right? I'm just saying. Sonic Hat Defense Force took me $1.30. He says, don't you think you're being oblique? $150 for suffering a few hours sounds fine to me. That's because you're stupid. Yeah, seriously, that's because you are. You shouldn't be contributing to see a streamer suffer because you're stupid. If you don't understand that sitting in this office and sweating profusely, being incredibly unhealthy and uncomfortable to make a few bucks is a bad thing, you're an asshole. And I mean that. Like, I mean, how dumb can you be? I might as well just fucking, you know, do completely crazy shit on the stream constantly, putting myself in harm's way. What are you, dumb? Yes. If you don't understand the difference between, oh, let's purchase a hat. That's a hat meant to be worn normally by a human. It doesn't overheat you. It doesn't hurt your body. It's meant to be designed so it doesn't hurt your neck or whatever. A nice hat, right? Versus a fucking costume you're only supposed to... Well, you could tell that he got this from another streamer or something because it's clicking in and out, and my content doesn't do that. So this is some other streamer supposed to wear, you know, for a few minutes momentarily for a party or something. You don't get the difference? You're an idiot.
As if to ease from the serious drama starting 2021, attention was again shifted to moments Phil made a fool of himself.
Ooh,
and of course, moments like these on stream.
Now, there was a gun. Where did it go? Oh, no chicken sandwich? He skipped it. He skipped it. What the fuck? He had a gun. I wanted to get it. It disappeared. Yeah, I didn't get it. For some reason, I don't know how to get a gun off of a guy. Yeah, but you see, I looked away. Now he had a big-ass gun I wanted. I guess not. And I didn't get it. Are you kidding me? That's classic. That's classic DSP. Absolutely. That's a running thing. That's, you know, sure. You got me there. I'm an idiot. I miss shit all the time in video games.
It is important to remember that it was not just detractors, fans, or uninteractive viewers from both sides that were paying attention to Phil.
Because we've shown you that these new items and abilities...
This I didn't even know about until someone told me about it. I had no clue this had even existed.
Lots of different gameplay in the different levels. The flow is motivating. And most importantly, we can actually use that motivation to prioritize exploration. Here's a quick example. I want you to watch what the player does here as he boats around.
What's hilarious is they blur my face out. Oh, you can't see it because I'm blocking it? Hold on, I'm going to remove my camera for a second so you guys can see this. This is them clipping me playing God of War 2018, and they blur my camera out. Why? Why blur my camera out? Anyway.
The taste of vanilla magic led him to new forms of experimentation.
We're back.
New levels of depravity.
The top 3 comments on this video read, quote, "The unstoppable force of nature that is DSP single-handedly making the gaming industry worse by simply playing games."
I don't even get it. What does that mean? No, I don't get it. If someone can ever explain that to me or break that down in basically how that's a bad thing, I mean, is that not a good thing? that they were showing. Here, we put something in the game to help the gamer along their way, so not to get lost. It motivates them to do things. And here's how it was implemented. Here's a gamer actually doing it. How is that a bad thing? And the unstoppable force of nature that is DSP single-handedly making games industry worse. Why? By them putting in things that make games more fun? I mean, what are you talking about? They are dumbing games down, and you are the target audience. What there showed the game being dumbed down? I don't understand that. I was riding the boat. There was an indicator on the shore that you needed to go there to do something. I saw the indicator, as intended, went to the shore and did it. How is that a slight against me, a slight against the game? It doesn't even make sense. Okay.
You live in a timeline where DSP has game companies making games catering to him. What a horrible time to live in where DSP is the standard audience games are aimed at. Unquote. During this entire...
It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense at all. They could have literally taken any gamer doing what I just did there, of which every gamer did. Every gamer saw the indicator, went to the shore, did the thing. But because it's me, now it's a negative me.
Entire time, his finances were still being tracked. However, for one person, this was...
We were at 196 likes, guys, with over 800 viewers. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying tonight's react as we finish up the Joon and King documentary. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not enough. And they decided to take matters into their own hands.
It's never good enough for these crazy conspiracy theorist nut jobs who want to hurt me. And now they've taken it too far. So thank you, Haseo, for 18 months as a member. This has been an interesting doc so far. I agree. Guys, please consider contributing. This is a normal, night stream for me, and I'm looking to hit the tips goal to keep the King streak alive. I will still be here till the end of the doc, so we got a ways to go, but please consider contributing. Let's crush it tonight and keep it going. Thank you. It's one thing just literally saying, okay, here's conspiracies about Phil. It's another thing committing federal crimes against me.
Yes, so someone just ran...
Okay, so this is going to be interesting.
Finally posted that they went ahead and accessed his bank leaks on using Bank of America, using their telephone, and reverse engineering his social security number to go ahead and figure out how to access. And Bank of America has an option where you can go ahead and repeat the last 10 transactions. He did that about 500 times.
This is to the point of now major repercussions. And I hope people understand that. Anyone who's talking about this, not knowing fully what they're saying is true or not, guess what? You're part of the problem and you're part of the issue, and you are going to be held accountable too. It's just that simple. You're part of it now. You're actually passing around stuff that should not be passed around, and you're going to be in trouble just as well. So
this event would be known as the bank leaks. Charted, graphed, and described to the best of the user's abilities, the information from the bank leaks was added to the tips tracker as a separate page. Phil's supposed transactions from March 3rd, 2020 to September 17th, 2021, the day the user supposedly accessed Phil's account, are now archived for everyone to see it.
Over the last week, it has come to my attention and my knowledge finally that for the record, everything here that I'm saying that he's quoting has nothing to do with these bank leaks. I have been subject to the crime of identity theft, a federal crime, by the way. I got a notification via email about someone messing around in one of my accounts, which then led me to research it. This is not the bank leaks, okay? This is something else. And find out that, this was happening.
At this same time, Phil gets a notification that someone has stolen his identity right at the same time the bank leaks come out and possibly trigger a failsafe. But due to Phil's own web lies, Phil is walking a very, very thin tightrope. The reason becomes clear why Phil cannot right out admit that someone accessed his bank account. On several occasions, there are transactions that are only labeled as PayPal. Some only labeled Apple iTunes. They happen with such frequency, back to back to back, that it immediately becomes suspicious. And more importantly, they are all the exact same amounts. Several transactions of $11, $16.51, and $110.09. If you deduct the Washington sales tax from
Hold on, my eyes are burning. Okay.
these, you get a more rounded number. The $110.09 becomes $99.99, and the $11 becomes $9.99. This can be easily correlated with the packages available on WWE Champions. These in the pie charts are labeled as microtransactions and make up around 1/4 in his spendings. In these 18 months, Phil spent around $44,000 on microtransactions. These are not the only purchases, which shows his dysfunctional nature. In September 2020 alone, the month the vet streak ended, he spent $258 on alcohol. These are all reasons why Phil cannot state his bank account was accessed, because it would simultaneously prove that he is an alcoholic with a gambling addiction.
Which is, I mean, it's so ridiculous. I've already told people I'm an alcoholic, you know.
And that his many emergency streams were only for the sake of raising money for microtransactions. Another layer of this is that Phil, if the bank leaks were fake, could easily disprove them. But the correlation between the bank leaks and his purchases are so tight, it seems he is unable to do so.
Wait. If the bank leaks were fake, he could easily disprove them. How?
So what he has done was just ignore it altogether. There is no way out of this one without a strong explanation, which Phil cannot muster. This was not even the wildest thing that came out in proximity of Phil this year.
But you know, there is one stream.
Alright, so is that it for bank leaks? I think that might be it. Let's continue just to make sure.
That, you know, forgot to turn off the camera. Yeah. Do you know, have you seen that one?
Well, I know of one. I dare not say the name.
Nah, he doesn't deserve attention. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It was not PewDiePie referencing Phil, it was this post on Kiwi Farms. Quote, let me...
Oh, okay. I think I know what this is, so before we get to that, this is something completely different. Okay, so... this whole bank leak story, alright, is so ridiculous because it's not correct, alright? Referencing these bank leaks. And he's saying, there's your evidence, he's talking about it. No, it had nothing to do with these bank leaks at all, alright? So, when people started talking to me about these bank leaks, I tried to look into them, but the only place that had information about them was Kiwi Farms. If this is real, alright, which I'm telling you it's not, you can judge for yourself what you think. If this is real, someone had to find a way to basically impersonate me, like I said, reverse engineer the account however they did it. They literally committed a federal crime every time they accessed the account, because that's fraud. You're pretending you're me, you shouldn't have access to the data, right? And then they did it repeatedly over and over to keep getting transaction history. So if he said, what did TJ Gamebox say? They did it increments of 10, they did it like 500 times. So they committed 500 federal crimes. No exaggeration, to get this data, okay? That's pretty crazy. Now, from what I'm to understand, this spreadsheet was made because I guess people were saying there was a call-in system. So they were calling into a bank, they were putting in some kind of a security code, and it was giving them access to the account, and then they would just sit there for hours on end listening to transactions, typing it into a spreadsheet. And that's how they came up with this data, okay? Fair enough if you believe that. But the bottom line is it's not verifiable, right? At all. There's no way to verify that this is real because they were supposedly doing a phone system and it doesn't work anymore. So obviously this is real, correct? Now, again, here's the thing. If it's real, why wouldn't I admit it? I've already admitted to you. I played WWE Champions. I spent a ton of money on it. There's no reason for me to deny it. That's the most damning thing in these bank leaks. Why would people think that this is me? All along, the narrative of my detractors has been, well, Phil gets all these tips in every day, right? And then he immediately goes and he blows all that money on WWE Champions, okay? Well, my tips are in my PayPal account, which means if I was making these transactions in WWE Champions from the PayPal account, it would say PayPal transaction through my PayPal. It wouldn't show on my bank statement at all. It wouldn't show up at all. It would be all through PayPal. All right. When I was playing WWE Champions last week, right here on one of my streams, well, actually it was on DSP Gaming, but I showed you the web store. And I said, you see in the web store that all of this looks like it's a better value? Because it is. They actually sell better packs and better value packs on the web store than they do in the game itself. Why? Because when you buy something through the game, through iTunes or through the Google store, whatever it could be, they make less money. Because Apple, Google takes a cut of each transaction. You see? They don't want you to spend money through the game because then they lose out on money. But if you go to their third-party website and spend money, they get all that money. It goes directly to their pockets. Do you see? So, it makes absolutely no sense that if someone was mass spending in a game like WWE Champions, that they would ever be mass spending through the store itself, and it would say Apple iTunes transaction. You would literally be shooting yourself in the foot every time because you're spending more and getting less. It's all circumstantial. You're correct. This entire thing is circumstantial. There's no way you could ever prove that this is real. And of course, when I factually not factually, excuse me, when I logically attack these things, then they degrade to insults. People are insulting my wife now in chat and everything. All right, here we go.
I dare not say the name.
Nah, he doesn't deserve attention. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It was not PewDiePie referencing Phil, it was this post on
So I have something big to say about this one, okay? Here we go.
Kiwi Farms. Quote, let me preface with this. I know I'm a degenerate, but curiosity got the better of me and I ended up seeing Officer Sanders IRL. I think I may be traumatized. The autism was just that bad. I got a room which I told her she could stay the night in, so she brought her hobo pack. She had a panic attack shortly after, so we had to talk for an hour to bring her down. Out of nowhere, she started talking about her sister and brought up one Phil Brunel. She had a container of Kool-Aid mix, so she added some to a bottle of water and was drinking from it. But for some reason, she thought it would be a good idea to add it to her bath and ended up trashing the bathtub. She splashed it on herself so it stained her skin. She did it to create content for OnlyFans, which should be up. Jesus. She then smoked some dank, we did stuff, and that was that. I need to reevaluate my life choices. Unquote. If it weren't for the pictures, this would be seldom believable. But as evidence was brought forth, it was clear that a troll had slept with Phil's sister-in-law. This really only scratches the surface of the rabbit hole pertaining to Phil's extended family. As for Phil himself, by 2022, he had survived many generations of YouTube and was being exposed to the newest generation of users and creators. A type of these creators fall under the category.
All right, he's already done with it. So I have a public statement to make. My wife, as you know, has had limited to no contact with my content here on the internet. My wife has absolutely, positively no contact whatsoever with any of her family members.
Virtual YouTubers, or VTubers for short. They are notable for their cutesy anime avatars. The juxtaposition between their and Phil's persona makes for an interesting watch.
I'm here.
What's hilarious is I know nothing whatsoever about this.
We're gonna name Phil.
Why is it so loud?
Let's name him. The crises begin.
Too loud.
Yeah. You're gonna look up at you like, huh?
Way too loud. It's like blaring
You are
loud
now
on TV.
Phil, and you fill one. You fills.
Are these their real voices, or do they use voice changing software? Because it sounds like over the top, like Japanese voice actors, which I get the feeling it's like voice changing software, right? This isn't like their real voices.
One purpose.
It sure does.
They're all. Are you kidding me? People are saying they're 400-pound men in real life. Then some people say, no, it's their real voice. Oh, okay. That's pretty funny.
It sure does. I have some gold nuggets, but they're not like ingots or anything, so we can't really actually use them.
This chance happening of VTuber Gura naming a random NPC Phil is phenomenal for many reasons.
Why? Who cares if someone randomly names an NPC Phil because they don't like me or something? What are you talking about?
Start, the NPC she named is a piglin. Phil's derisive nickname is Pig Roach. Both of them are known to snort. Gura also has a piglin trapped in a cage, which is a rather insulting position to be in. The in-game purpose of trapping this NPC is to utilize a mechanic that allows players to exchange gold ingots for random items from the piglin. The piglin will also attack you if you are not wearing a gold item. This greed and desire for gold from the NPC is just another reason this chance occurrence is remarkable.
I'm gonna get gold out of you, Phil. I'm gonna get all types of goodies out of you, Phil.
That's creepy. That sounds creepy as shit. Are you kidding me? The way she said that? That was disturbing as hell.
It is also standard that VTubers, unlike any other content creator, mock Phil.
The good old DSP, the guy who can't complete a game. You know, it's honestly...
The guy who can't complete a game, I've probably completed more games than any fucking player besides, like, speedrunners. What in the holy hell is this guy even? See what I mean about the misconceptions about me that make no sense? I'm one of the most prolific YouTubers, and I've beaten almost every single game I've ever played, unless my audience begged me not to keep playing it. That doesn't make any sense at all what he just said.
It's honestly a wonder that DSP is still around to this day. He's like a relic. He belongs in a museum.
Should I do it?
It's honestly a wonder that DSP is around to this day. He's like a relic in a museum. I mean...
Thanks. That was a low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry. I had to do it. That was a real low-hanging fruit. And if he's going to insult me, I'm going to give it back to him. Nothing personal. I have no idea who this person is, but I'm just razzing you back because you razzed me. Okay? I hope he doesn't take it personally.
He's made his career entirely off being bad
Made his
and
career
horrible.
entirely out from horrible things. Meanwhile, here I come,
I'm gonna be
talking like I have 2 carrots shoved up my nose as I talk on my stream with an anime avatar in front of me because I don't want you to see how I really look.
At this point, I literally can't tell if it's an act, and he's just really committed.
Wow.
I can't tell.
How'd you even do that? But that's the problem with DSP, is he blames everybody else for his problems instead of just recognizing the problem and then...
That's correct. I just blame absolutely everyone around me. I have never fessed up to anything that I've ever done ever.
And seeking a resolution for it.
All right?
The most viral category was by far a comparison video titled Cute Anime Girl versus Disgruntled Old Man.
What are these? A bunch of little balls?
That's a lot of balls. What are we doing with these balls?
Gonna scoop them?
Can we grab them? Yes, we can.
Are we making like a...
There's... Huh?
like a excavator?
Are we just putting all the balls in here or something? Once again, I'm just supposed to magically know what we're doing, even though the game has absolutely no explanation for anything.
I see.
While the VTuber properly solves a puzzle with the items laid out, Phil bumbles through and solves it in the wrong and most difficult way.
And it's fine, because that's how I do everything in life. You know, in life, I'll say this. Variety is the spice of life, and variety is key. The more variety you have, the better life is. If everyone did everything the same way and acted the same way, life would be incredibly boring. I'm happy to be someone who breaks the mold, even if it's doing things in an incredibly stupid way. At least I do it in an entertaining way, right? So there you go.
Effectively introducing himself to a new audience.
Clip that one, you sons of bitches. Wow, that was a really ingeniously thought out puzzle, wasn't it?
This, without doubt, funneled more people into the rabbit hole that is DSP. And there will be many more to come, because Phil announced that he abandoned the 10-year plan of trying to get a regular job to one where he's trying to diversify himself online.
But with the 10-year plan, is that it? That's the end of the VTuber thing? Wow, that was really short and pointless. I have to pee again, and I'm sorry. Please tonight support the stream. Give it a like if you're enjoying it. We're at 264. Let's get to 300 likes tonight, guys. We have 840 people on the stream. It would be great to get to 300 by the end of the night. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the memberships. Those are all great. But we're trying to hit that tips goal of 150 to get the King Streak 37, to crush it again, to make it rain again, and to keep the positivity going. So if you were going to contribute, please tip, in the next hour or so as we finish this up. Okay? All right, here we go. Thank you guys so very much. And I will shout it out when it comes in, if it does. Thank you. And has essentially evolved into is within 10 years, diversify myself enough on the internet that now I'm not just the gamer guy anymore. Right? Now I'm known for other things, right? Which I am, actually.
Via a greater focus on his request of donations. Reddit post after popular Reddit post, a discussion of Phil's ungratefulness and constant requests for donations were on an uptick. In October, it was found that in 8 hours, within 6 tweets, Phil was constantly petitioning for more money. Even moments where he got some goodwill were instantly tossed aside.
I 100% completely agree.
Very important keyword. Slowest. This is very important because typing it into pig shows that the word is primarily used in one way.
Every time I play it, it ends up being the slowest stream of the week when it comes to support, and it's always my slowest night, The conclusion of Earthbound, it was one of the... I would think tips and support would have been more frequent than slowest, though. Obviously, I want to finish it. Here we go. But I toughed it out for you guys tonight, and I got nothing out of it.
He then goes on to say, he doesn't even know if he'll be able to afford Gotham Knights on Friday because no one has donated enough, and he's not sure if they'll donate enough tomorrow.
If Phil's objective was to reimagine himself, he was doing a rather poor job of it. And in the middle of all this, he made a terrible mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, hello everyone, and welcome. Oh, this wasn't a terrible mistake at all. This is when people saw WWE Champions on my phone. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I just don't really care that much anymore. You get to a point where it's like, so what? That I play it, and then immediately someone called me out on it and says, what was that? And I said, it was WWE Champions. I right away the next day, I said, yeah, that was WWE Champions here. You know what I mean? Daily Wrap. No, this was the Daily Wrap, because someone says you were playing it during the stream. No, the Daily Wrap is a video I film offline after I'm done at the end of the day.
Phil's desk was his phone. On his phone was a rather familiar looking layout. As was quickly pieced together, Phil was logged into WWE Champions.
Correct.
The game he states he did not play since 2018 because they were a waste of time and money.
Oh, I don't know if I said I didn't play it since 2018, but...
Yeah. I think he has autism. And this is coming from someone who has it. Because I've got a low level of autism.
Okay.
Asperger's, which...
What does this have to do with anything?
Despite Gamer JLE being fairly unengaged, Phil would try to make Gamer JLE seem incredible.
It's about me on social media all the time, riffing on me, making fun of me, insulting me and my family, and he's regular in detractor circles and all that, and I'm like, so what happened?
Does my channel look like a detractor channel to you? I'm talking about Gears of War and Halo.
Optimally, this is as far as it would go.
No, again, I don't know who that is.
But when you factor in, this happens to his most dedicated fans, that experience is sliding directly from Phil.
Koei says, I think he met you IRL at an event you were with John Rambo at in person, so he's really old school. Oh my god.
There's some people who won't be happy unless I just bring Darksydephil to his knees crying and bawling, and it's like they're going insane. Like they are into Phil has put out guidelines and Craig has paid Phil. What are you talking about? What? It's amazing.
Craig's
well, it's funny because people are saying Craig got his just desserts today. You can skip this part. No, what we have to do is we have to watch the part, because then I have to tell you about the follow-up that happened today. If you don't know, I interviewed him on DSP Gaming today earlier. It did not go well for him.
I'm excited to bring on DarksydePhil. Phil, how are you?
Holy crap.
Phil, for the first 30 minutes or so, begins with constant flattery, saying he is a big fan of the show and doesn't miss an episode. While the hosts are appreciative of Phil's words, it's clear they are not swayed by them. As Phil tries to use his time online as expertise, his statements are being challenged.
When you've been around as long as me, you realize you get people from all over the world and for different reasons. If I were to...
But are they sticking? Are they staying though? Because you know, if you have 500 people come in and they're just kind of coming out, that's actually bad for the algorithm. That's bad. You want people to stay and subscribe.
A big part of Phil wanting to reimagine himself is to get away from controversial jokes about race.
By the way, for the record, I have not watched the interview back since it happened. Not once.
Or even just conversation about his finances. Phil likely didn't know that the host had evidence of Phil still doing both, which is when the tone of the interview starkly changed.
But I want to bring up, like, there's still jokes that are made that that don't necessarily, like, they don't fit today. And I want to play one for you really quick and just kind of get your reaction to this. Okay, so
this is not a racial joke in any way, shape, or form. It's only formed in the form of a racial joke by those who want to make me look bad. There's nothing racial even described in the joke. All right, but let's play it and let's see.
This is yeah. So you know where this is going, and I want to watch this so we all understand what's going on here.
Make this quick.
All right, boys, prepare the slave trade. We're selling her right off for profit.
Put the kid in the vehicle. Stay with her.
That's right, she's too valuable to escape. She's worth lots of money.
Phil tried to...
It's a joke about child slavery in a slave trade. You may not even realize, and you can say it's a bad joke. It's not a racial joke whatsoever. Did you know that here in Washington State, human actual trafficking is huge? It's a huge problem here in this state.
Grasp at anything to defend himself, stating that it was out of context, that the girl's race wasn't even a factor he considered when he made the joke.
That's
and
right.
that in today's standards, that joke is somewhat acceptable. None of Phil's rhetoric was convincing. In fact, his constant jumping to different, sometimes contradictory points were putting the host on offense.
The $5,000 business expense thing has been talked about by your detractors quite a bit. They say, what could you possibly be spending $5,000 on? Look,
expenses that a tax attorney wants to know you're spending every month. Geez, your mortgage, because if you work from home, I guess that's part of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tax guy, but it costs your... They're asking me to break down my business expenses live on stream. I can't do that.
Your mortgage, all of your utility bills that apply to you operating the business.
Well, hold on, Phil. Phil, you've been doing this for 17 years and you don't know what your business expenses are. You don't know what you get tax write-offs on and stuff. I mean, like,
no, I put all that information of all my expenditures into documents, spreadsheets, stuff. I send it off, and then my taxes get done by a tax professional.
Like,
specifically, no, I don't.
Phil was pleading ignorance. He pretended to act confused in what his business expenses are, when Phil clearly stated in the Bankruptcy 341 meeting exactly what his business expenses are.
Yeah, and basically anything related to my internet content creation, you know, including, like I said, cost of video games, cost of subscription-based services.
Right, I'm bringing you down some of the stuff that's included. But
Phil finally had a statement on the bank leaks. Here, he pivoted from stating that the bank leaks were not accurate, that they were related to the identity theft, then to that the bank leaks were not him at all and were entirely manufactured. None of Phil's statements throughout this entire interview were very convincing. But Craig quickly thought of a way to try to prove some of this.
find this, but just confidentially between us, will you send me a screenshot of your account?
So here it is. This is all in black and white because this is exactly what we talked about in the interview earlier today. All right, so here it is, all in black and white, happening for you live. That what actually happened, because wait till you hear what happened after the fact. Okay.
Of your WWE account, and just so I personally, I will not share your name to anybody, but just between us.
Man, I had to think about
and vouch for you.
You could see it's going through my head, like, well, how can I do this? How can I convincingly show him the situation? Because now you guys know the situation. I told you yesterday. I do not have ownership of the Down from the Rafters account. Here we go.
Yeah, and I will vouch for you either way.
I have to think about what kind of risk that. I don't want to say. Here's the thing. I'll consider it, but I can't agree to it yet. I have to see what's the risk. Right, what's the risk? Can I give you enough of this information that will convince you but doesn't put me in harm, right? I'm not just going to send him a screenshot that means nothing. I need to figure this out to do it right.
Before Phil could fully commit to sending a screenshot of his WWE Champions account, his internet cut out.
Let's circle back.
I was DDoS.
Phil, you still?
I was DDoS attacked.
There, you look like you're frozen.
Did we lose him?
I hope not.
With Phil gone, even for just about 5 minutes, the offer to send the screenshots was off the table as he could have created or manufactured a fake account.
What? So wait a minute. I got DDoS attacked during the interview by the guy who worked at Comcast, and because that happened, which you could see I had nothing to do with it, I was just sitting there and it froze. Now the offer is off the table? That's actually not true. Joon got that wrong.
He would not accept a deal that provides what would normally be life-changing money.
The algorithm sent his live stream in my feed, so I tune into it. And I'm telling you, the minute I tuned in, I saw Phil begging for money to pay rent and utilities, and I just lost it in his chat. I'm like, I cannot believe that you're doing this right now. 2 weeks.
So you literally came into my chat, you trolled me, and then you appropriately got banned, right?
So if it came out true that Phil was I guess addicted to that one app, because I don't know if it is, right? I'm trying to find what's going on, and I can't find anyone saying anything solid. Pretty much there's no solid evidence that proves anything 100%. But if it did come out, would it not change anything for you?
I mean, I feel a bit hurt because he does often.
All right, so basically we're done with that side scrollers thing. All right, so we got to go back because I want to. We absolutely have to talk about this, and it's let's do it now. And now it's done, and I got it off my chest, and I just don't really care anymore about it, at all. So it's done. I'm never gonna talk to that man again. Literally, I don't care. I'm not going to talk to him again. There's no point. It's a waste of my time. He's a snake. He's dishonest. He's not apologetic for being immoral and doing fucked up things. He wants to donate. He wants to send super chats. He tells me to go fuck myself within 2 minutes. He's out of his mind. He can do whatever he wants. I wish him the best. I hope he has a great life with his new show, because his show really now has nothing to do with what it was back then when I did the interview with him. All right? It's over with. This is, again, the closing of this chapter of my life and me moving on positively. Fair enough? Okay. let's finish this.
Offer to. But the truth is, he has made so many enemies of content creators, his channel was bound to statistically outlive some of them. He has made possibly over $1 million, yet has nothing to show for it, and is now uploading multi-hour long videos daily for pennies. He has practically nothing
For pennies? I don't work for pennies. I don't even know where you got that from.
to show for anything. There is only hate, contempt, and displeasure. And being that the only people that interact with him daily, sans his wife, are those utterly obsessed with his life, Phil will continue to curtail his personality around these people who do not represent a healthy reality, as he continues to hold on to what shred of his online career he can grasp.
Alright. Well. Alright. Here's honestly, that's the end of it, right? That's actually the dead end of it, which is surprising. I actually thought there would be like something even bigger and more dramatic than that. That was kind of almost like it ended not with a bang, but with a whimper. You know what I mean? Like, I actually thought there'd be like a big bang at the end or something that he was going to hit me with or whatever.